Backlog. All right, guys, welcome to the Backlog Podcast, number 23. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. I'm Matt.
August.
Quintessence.
Lumi.
And Phil.
Awesome, guys. So, I gotta ask August. Actually,
Yes.
No, we gotta go with the guests here. I gotta remember, because as it is tradition, the Backlog Podcast, we usually start out by talking about our weeks. And I was wondering, Lumi, you've never been on the podcast. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, sure. So, my week was crazy, dude. I'm just like super busy. I've been editing, and I'm sure we're gonna get into it a little later. But I've also been helping out Phil with the invitational on
Yep.
TikTok for DNF Duel. So yeah, that's been most of my day. I've been working on my sleep, dude. Sleep is so important, and like
Very important.
I don't know about
Super
y'all,
important.
but I got bad sleep apnea, so I'm just like trying to figure it out. You know, I'm using the breathe strips and everything,
Mhm.
but we're getting there. Yeah, my week was good. How about you guys?
Phil, you wanna go next?
Sure. Mine has been the definition. You know the term, the term running around with your head cut off like a chicken. That's
Yes.
been me this entire week. So it's been a very stressful and chaotic week. However, I'm loving it, and I am very excited for things to come.
For sure, man. August,
Nice.
how was your week, man?
Yeah, also crazy busy. Have a million things to do. Taking like an online class and an in-person summer class. So that's been keeping busy. Work, of course. And then just trying to keep caught up on all the crazy new pieces of like media that have come out.
Yeah.
As well as with like, this crazy week of gaming news. It was basically like mini E3 these past couple weeks. So there's been just crazy amounts of stuff coming out or announced and trying to just follow all that is like almost a full-time job in and of itself, but we managing and we made it to the weekend and we're here. So
Yeah, the past 2 weeks have been crazy in terms of like game announcements.
yeah,
It's hard to keep up with everything, for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Definitely.
it's been
Quintessence,
nuts.
how was your week, man?
Pretty good overall, Got some watching of the TVs done, and Stranger Things is pretty freaking awesome, the new season. Other than that, everything's actually been going fairly well, surprisingly.
Oh,
I'm ready to get kicked in the nuts.
yeah. Usually you have a pretty like gloomy week, or not
Right.
gloomy week, but just it's never quite.
Just a gloomy
Awesome.
year.
Yeah. He did
Yeah,
say
true.
he just went up to get water and stepped in cat puke. So
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. I mean, that's just
yeah,
kind
but
of his
that's-
life,
That's a drop in the bucket.
Uh,
Cat ownership.
What would
True.
you say would be like the worst thing that's happened?
Oh boy.
Like, what is like? Do you see like
Currently,
omens?
crypto.
Oh, condolences. Condolences.
gross.
We don't have to get into that.
Lost
but-
my ass.
Yeah, it's
Quintessence,
rough.
do you have do you own a monkey picture?
No.
You don't have the rights to some monkey picture that is no longer worth
No.
anything. You're not one of them.
No. NFTs.
I own
no, thank
I
you.
have one of them. I actually did buy
Oh,
one.
do
of
you?
them
have a Bored Ape?
as a joke. Yeah, it's supposed to be a different colored version of the Lara Croft monkey from
Oh
Tomb
my
Raider. I
God.
have one. I bought one of them for like $1.99 like
Yeah.
a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Nice.
you gotta hold that, man. It's only
So
gonna
now it's
go
worth
up.
like
Only gonna go up
25
in value.
cents, maybe?
I actually owe someone $17 now. That's
Whoa! What?
Oh,
it's for Oda. Yeah, I owe someone money now.
how'd this happen?
I don't know. That's what I'm assuming how the crypto works. I don't know.
You're
I did it as a
100%
joke, and it's.
You're 100% serious about owing somebody money, or you just?
Oh
messed-
no, I'm not. But there's I don't know how crypto works, but there's a chance. I don't know how the rate
Yeah.
works. I know it's in my property. I got an email that said so. So,
Yeah, you own it.
yeah.
We actually had a talk about NFTs the other week, and it's like a whole other stupid layer on top of crypto. Because like Seth Green had to like buy back his stolen
Oh
Bored
yeah.
Ape because he was trying to make a show about Bored Apes, and like there was some like legal gray area where he couldn't use it in his show without
Mhm.
actually still owning it. So yeah, crypto's NFTs are a whole new level of crazy on top of crypto's already crazy.
Yeah, I think
They're
Blockchain
making
hits
a,
different.
They're making that ape They're making an NFT fighting game with those apes.
Oh
No.
my God.
I'm dead ass. I swear to God. I swear to God, it's real. I made
How
a
much is
TikTok
the
on it like
DLC?
3 months ago. Like, it's supposed to have like the biggest fighting game roster of all time.
The
Wow.
DLC is an
This is 100% real.
Okay. We're going full Dead or Alive DLC. I
Oh
get
my
it.
god.
It's just a globe, like
Yeah.
MBC2 globe, and it's just all monkeys. Like,
Won't take
And
you
it's
for
actually
a
the
ride.
whole globe too.
you go all the way around. Like,
Ping, ping, ping. It's gonna be like Mugen, dude.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that.
for real.
That's that.
Exactly. There you go.
That's that Diablo Immortal monetization strategy right there. Make money off
Oof,
everything.
Can we never talk about that game? I'd prefer to give that game no coverage whatsoever after all this.
Yeah, I think that Seth Green ape
Yeah,
NFT that he had to buy back was like it was $300,000 he had to buy back
Yup.
so he could make his own TV show that someone else stole from the
They
blockchain. He
basically
had to buy it back.
ransomed it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which will probably fail in the first season, like most TV shows. But you know,
He really believes in it though.
It's not going to be on Netflix probably, so it'll be fine.
true story.
It'll be on Quibi.
Could be
Ooh.
something nobody watches.
That's still a thing. There's no
Oh,
way that's still a
is it
thing.
I
Quibi's
don't
not-
think
Quibi's
it is.
not.
I think it
Quibi-
died.
Quibi closed up shop. Quibi closed up shop. In fact,
Makes
when
sense.
CNN Plus closed, they were making fun of it and would be like, "Yo, this didn't even last the full Quibi." It
I
was,
wonder who has the rights to Reno 911 now, because they actually bought out all of the rights in the Reno 911 to start the show.
Really?
That probably got thrown back into the ether,
Yeah.
and now someone has the rights to one of my
Yeah,
favorite
probably.
parody shows.
Well, didn't they just make that movie?
Comedy Central will just be like, "Oh,
I'm-
we'll take that back."
You know what? I'm gonna buy Reno 911. Let me
You
see how much
should.
it costs.
Oh, there you go. Can't be
Imagine
that much,
having
right?
an auction for
Yeah,
shows.
make a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Where can
I
I
actually
buy
love
SWAT cats?
I would
No.
bid on Reno 911.
Oh damn, dude! Callie Briggs to buy it.
Yo, give me a
Yeah,
SWAT
dude.
Cats game for real.
I just want more SWAT cats.
There's
That's all
one
I
on
need
a
in my
Super
life.
Nintendo,
Yeah, give me a new one.
and I've never played it.
What
It's actually pretty good.
is it, like an on-rail shooter? Because if it's
I
not,
think-
they did it wrong.
I think it is an on-rails
It's a
shooter
mix.
where you're like flying through the city, and then essentially, you're just like flying up and down. I don't know.
Oh, you're playing Superman 64. Wonderful.
No,
It's on the
hey,
Super
no.
Nintendo.
Great.
It's on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
It's on the
Nothing's
Super
like
Nintendo.
Superman
more like a
64.
shmup. Yeah.
I think it's like what is it? You ever played Operation Turn and Burn? It's like a deep cut, but probably nobody has.
That sounds like a horror mystery novel.
Nope.
It's
Yeah.
it's a
negative
game.
for me, Ghost Rider.
It's a game about piloting like a fighter jet. It's on
Top
the
Gun?
it's on the Super Nintendo. It's like around the same time. Yeah.
What's that? What's that like? On the subject of like plane related games, what's that game where there's like no combat in like the whole object of the game is just to land back on the aircraft carrier without
Top
crashing?
Gun?
Oh,
Is
That's
that
Top Gun, but there is combat. There is
Oh,
combat.
There's combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
But
was-
like
You just have to survive the combat and landing on the
I was gonna say,
carrier.
the aircraft carrier was like a pretty significant portion of the game, what I remember.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Operation Turn and Burn is the exact same game. Actually, it takes like the same layout but does it better.
Wouldn't take much.
Yeah, well, it has the same landing function. It has like the same combat.
Oh.
And then you know what else like kind of did that too was there's a game called Super Battle Tanks on the Super Nintendo, and it literally has the same layout except you're a tank.
You got to land the tank
Yeah,
back
I've
in the
played
aircraft
that.
carrier.
I can't remember what happens with the tank. I think you actually just respawn in another area and you're just like go blow things up. Go
They brought
blow up
back
a
the
third world
64
country. Do
too.
it. What's that?
Battle tanks. They brought back battle tanks for the 64 also.
Oh yeah, I think there was some kind of a battle tanks game. So let me I'll go over my week really quick. So we can move on
true.
to the to the interview portion of it. So let's see what the hell happened this week. I went on 2 dates with 2 different girls. That wasn't too bad.
Let's go.
Let's go. One of them was bad. One of them, was like, I don't think she was interested. The other one was like, all right, yeah, she's pretty cool. And then, oh my god, I wrote this whole entire thing out and I don't have the list in front of me. Oh, I played some Tekken. I played some Budokai on stream, and let's see. Oh, I finally threw in my air conditioner. Lots of excitement going on here.
That's a
You don't want to
process.
die of heat stroke in these global warming times.
Yeah, it's true. Been working on, of course, I think what's taken up most of my week was actually just promoting. I've been trying to like make lots of videos and editing, and of course, talking about the event that's coming up here. We're gonna go over that shortly, of the DNF Duel. Also been thinking a lot about, who I'm gonna use in that game, even. And I still don't know. I don't even know, like, where to start, because I haven't played it since this. I think, was there 2 betas of DNF Duel?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
there's 2 betas.
I remember like nothing from both of those betas. It's been so long.
Well,
so
you got a different character every time, so
oh, that's right. Yeah, no training mode. Which was an interesting
Yeah.
choice, really. I don't know why or who decided
think you
that
said
that was a good
poor
idea.
choice, wrong.
You gotta train during the fight. Listen, they're trying to bring back the like authentic arcade experience where you have to like tell your friend like not to like punch you, and you gotta test out your moves.
Well, you see, that was fun for like the first few days, and then the second day everybody figured out the meta. So then all of a sudden I was casually playing this game, and then I was getting like, I feel like I was taking 70% damage from people just like off of like 2 bars a meter.
was it the Inquisitor wheel meta?
Yes, it was actually. Yeah, it was. And it was not fun. Especially if you weren't paying attention to what was going on. And I was not.
It was so stupid.
Yeah, the authentic
wheel's
arcade
so dumb.
experience.
That's the honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Dumb.
That is the only reason I have like zero faith in that game, is because shit like that happened.
The fire tornado is just as bad from Kunoichi.
Kunoichi, yeah.
Kunoichi.
One of the biggest
however the hell
issues
you
with
say
those
it.
betas was not even the fact that like you didn't have a training mode. The fact it was only PlayStation was a huge issue.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
even Strive, their beta was only on PlayStation.
Yeah, I think they do that because they don't.
They
want
do that
people
frequently.
Data mining,
That's
Definitely.
100% why they do it. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like they want to, because with PC you have such a varied setup from person to person. Because like everyone's like, okay, I'm not wired in, or I'm in a McDonald's, or like whatever, so on and so forth. And then with a PS4, you know that they're probably at home and that they're, you know what I mean, they're in a regular location. They're just wired or non-wired, and you can kind of probably get a general idea of what the netcode needs to be. Unless, of course, if you're JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we can all just go fuck ourselves. So,
Whoa, we'll talk about that one later.
I mean,
Well, we'll
it
get to
just
that,
doesn't
though.
get my money.
We'll
It's
get to
easy.
I made a whole video about it today for YouTube. I'm so angry.
God bless you,
So
sir.
it's-
Like
So
you know the rabbit hole gets worse too, because it's not just the netcode situation.
Yeah, there's
What they pulled
layers.
out of the game. There's a whole lot of shenanigans with that. But we'll get to it.
As someone who played it when it first came out and bought it
Yes.
when it first came out in 2013, I have a lot to
that's
say,
true,
but most of it is just rage. So we'll get to that.
The hate flow through you.
Yeah, I'm basically gonna become Anakin Skywalker. All right. So with that, let's move on to the interview portion of the podcast. So with that, Lumi, Mr. Of Course, the people want to know, who are you? And why are you here?
I'm gonna hand this off to you, my friend.
And
No,
why
I
are
was
you here
gonna do the
today?
same to you.
Oh,
Do you
damn.
want me to go first? I've already been here. You're new to the
That is true. That is true.
the
I should go
backlog
first.
cast.
Throw me in the
Brand new.
dance circle. Let's get it
Yeah,
going.
no,
all
Lumi
right?
can always be first because he's new. That's fine.
Yeah.
Trial by fire. Get in there.
Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Yeah. So I'm Luminos, Lumi. You can call me either of those two. Honestly, I'm just like a nerd and a fan of fighting games. And
Big
that's
same.
straight up it. My pitch to you is that if you just want to like see what fighting games are about, or if you want to see how to run events or just talk about the community in general, I usually love to do that. And I always love talking to people from any walks of life about, fighting games, what it means to them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm all about in a nutshell, I would say.
It's cool. Phil,
Nice.
who
I'm
is
some guy that makes fighting game videos on TikTok.
hey,
Um,
bro? I like it.
Short and
No,
sweet.
no pitch needed.
no.
I'm sold. So why are so I gotta ask, why are you guys here today?
Well, one, because you asked.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
that's the obvious one.
Okay,
That's
well,
what we
of
like
course.
to hear.
It's now you're metagaming, okay?
Yeah.
He knows.
The
He knows the way to our hearts.
Yeah.
we are mainly here to help promote a really big event that I'm leading. Lumi is my partner in arms in this, helping me at every step of the way, and we are currently trying to hashtag dueling cancer. About we did the King of Fighters Invitational a couple months back, beginning of the year actually, and I told myself for the next one we're going to try to do something bigger, and we had someone within the community that happened to go through the struggles with cancer, and we were going to do a fundraiser for them. However, they decided they didn't want to do that. They would rather if we donated the money to cancer research, so I obliged, and we've gone through with that. We picked organizations that they wanted, and ever since then, we've been trying to raise money. Starting last Monday, I officially made the reveal, and ever since then, we've been doing everything we can to raise money for a FGC TikTok DNF Duel Invitational to raise money for cancer research for the National LGBT Cancer Network.
Not a mouthful at all.
I was about to say.
That is quite
everything
the
about
title. All right.
we have 16 players that are going to be participating in the event. Backlog is one of them. We have 15 other competitors. One of them is a mystery character that no one but myself knows. Lumi doesn't even know who it is yet.
It's gonna be
Just
fun.
like, all right,
I've guessed
maybe on air, you can give us one more hint. So I don't know if you guys watched the promo video, but he said he was a he, which by the way, doesn't narrow it down at all. Okay,
No.
like there's a lot of dudes here. So if you could give me one more hint as to who the mystery character or mystery player is in the tournament.
Hold on.
East Coast.
East Coast in origin.
East Coast in origin.
Ooh.
Hold on. Wait. You're gonna learn today. Nah.
Oh.
Never mind. No, I'm not even gonna guess. No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's definitely East Coast. I won't give any more. That's the last hint, Lumi.
That's
I'm not
fine.
giving you
I
anything
don't
else.
even want to know. I want to find out the day
does
of.
narrow it down. I'm thinking, you know what? We're not
Yeah.
going to get too much into it here, but like,
Tough.
there you go.
Welcome to the real world.
We have a bunch of fun things in store. We have a pre-show coming up. Obviously, you're doing podcast. Sometime this week, I have to still throw the edit together and everything, but I will be coming out. Backlog was there last night. He's actually part of it. We are doing donation goals. This is not just me and the 16 players, my hosts, commentators. This is the entire fighting game community on TikTok that's working together. So
Wow.
everyone is involved. If you're a fighting game content creator on TikTok, I legitimately messaged everyone and asked join in. This is a team effort. This is not just me. And hopefully we make the goal of 20,000. That would be beautiful. The next goal obviously would be we get some eyes on us. FGC
Absolutely.
TikTok has been a massive niche. Fighting games are already a niche within the gaming community, and FGC TikTok is even worse. So hopefully we'll be able to get some more eyes on us, because people usually go to TikTok for thirst traps and like video game clips. There's a lot of other great things on there that people should see. So that's was part of the goal, but obviously this is for a fundraiser. some of the goals we have are a little bit crazy and fun. For example, backlog. Do you want to get
Oh
into
my
details of what
God.
you have to do?
So apparently, okay, so this is kind of a weird one for me because they're gonna make me put like the Waffle House menu as my green screen background for a month because apparently the Waffle House is where everybody at FGC goes after events, after tournaments. Which I don't think we have a Waffle House here, do we, August? I don't think we do.
No,
No, we don't have a
no.
Waffle House. So it's even like more lost upon me
Yeah.
because I don't even have
No.
one where I live. So
Hilariously enough, I actually saw a meme about that on my Facebook from someone who does live in my state, and they were like, "Yeah, like we have Denny's. We have a Denny's in our state."
yeah,
And they're saying like Denny's is the Waffle House for people who don't know how to fight. And I'm like, yeah, that's accurate for my state. Yeah, we don't throw hands very often.
That's
I mean,
fair.
you know, we're like polite Waffle House up here. We don't have the real nitty gritty.
I think another goal that was offered, and I don't know if this went through, but someone said like if we hit a certain amount, they're gonna make me play Dragon Ball Z sagas, and I don't know if that officially got a.
I don't think it did. However, I'm gonna put it on there now.
I would love to do that, and only
Godspeed, my dude.
only to commiserate with myself.
There's a small enjoyment about playing bad games, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest. There's sometimes like, one of the most fun I've ever had was when I did a bet that I would play Demon Slayer, the new Demon Slayer game, because I don't like arena fighters or honestly anime games in general.
Yep.
So playing it to me, I'm like, I'm just gonna make this horrible for all the fans of the actual series, and it was one of the best streams I ever had. There were like legitimate fans in there, so excited that I was playing it, and I was just shitting on it the entire.
Yeah,
Like it was fun for me. It was the most fun I've had in a stream in a while. So like, there's a certain point when you don't like something, there's a weird sense of enjoyment out of doing it because like you can just let loose. You know what I mean? You're like, you can let your opinions go, and it's like
Get all over it.
Mystery Science Theater is a whole thing for that reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like shitting on bad movies. You know?
real quick, guys, I posted the Dueling Cancer fundraiser link in the chat. So if you guys want to go click on that and donate, feel free. I will also be having more guests on from the FGC, from the DNF Duel Invitational on for the next 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I can't remember exactly how long it is until the tournament. The third is going to be, it might be pre-recorded considering it's like the weekend of the 4th of July. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get anybody. But either way, it's looking that like next week we might have Freddie Pow Pow and King Drew on next Sunday.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Freddy's a blast.
Yeah,
So is Drew. Those are two good choices.
That's a pair right there. And thinking
Yeah.
about it now, like, yeah, that's gonna be a good time, guys, for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait. And obviously, the one thing that I'm happy about with this podcast is we don't just talk about fighting games. So you're not, I mean, obviously you're, that's what you come here to promote, but we're not strictly going to talk about that.
Yeah, we have pop culture stuff. We have a bunch of other new stuff. Yeah, just trying to have fun.
Let me see. Was there anything else I was going to throw at you before we delve into the interview? I mean, at the moment, I'm a little lost on like what exactly came to my mind, but I don't know if there's anything else that you guys wanted to say before we get it started.
Yeah, I got nothing else for me. Lumi, you got anything you'd like to throw into the ring?
Honestly, just like if you want to see what this is all about, I think this is probably the best opportunity to get eyes on fighting game TikTok, like we said before.
Yeah.
And really just to see what everyone's about and what the hell's going on. Because I feel as if we've definitely built up a community over the time. And I'm just genuinely excited to see not only to raise money for an amazing cause, but to also just show off who we are and all of our talents, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, it's obviously first and foremost, it's about the fundraiser, and then also getting to meet the characters and the interesting people is just icing on the cake.
1000%. Well said.
So with that, I think my first question of the interview, this one's for both of you guys. How did you both get such amazing beards? And why is what is the secret? Because I can't do it for whatever reason. You know.
I can't
Well,
speak for Lumi, but I made a deal with a witch when I was 19. That was part of it. I comb it a lot. That's my secret, I guess, if I could say anything.
Okay.
It's letting it grow and combing it a lot.
I also talked to a witch, but I didn't take the deal. So mine probably isn't as good as Phil's, but what I can say is for just to like moisturize, bruh. Like just moisturize, you can
Right.
comb it. If you want to shape it, heat plus oil is the way to go. You get a little bit of beard oil, and then you get a hair dryer, and you can just shape it with a comb. You're eating good.
Like
You're
I don't know
doing
if you could see mine, but it's not quite like I don't have the beard of like a 40-year-old man for whatever reason. And I'm just curious, like, has it always been like you hit the age of like 16 and you look like you were 35? Has it always been that way?
I had a 5 o'clock shadow when I was like 6. So
Damn.
Damn,
I
that's amazing.
I was buying
I-
beer for people like when I was 20. So like,
yeah, I've
Excluding
had a
myself.
mustache since like middle school, and then that just grew into a beard out of nowhere. And genuinely, I was pretty lazy with the upkeep until recently. It's when you look like a caveman, when you're quarantined for so long, you're like, I should do something about this. So I took a little bit more care of my beard.
All right. So the first real question is for
that's a starting question.
for
Lumi.
the first real question is
I just love I love just the imagery of like someone like living like a caveman. Like I'm thinking like Tom Hanks in Castaway, but like still just being at your house.
That's me,
Right.
1000%.
So
I had
that
I had the volleyball and everything. I forgot
Yeah.
his name, but
Wilson.
Well,
Wilson. Yeah, Wilson. Yeah.
Yo, Lumi, how did you get your start in the FGC?
Great question.
Yeah.
So I would say I've been a fan of fighting games ever since I was a child. First fighting game I ever played was Street Fighter 2 on the SNES
Mhm.
with my father. Even though by that time Street Fighter 3 was a thing, but my father was just like, yeah, Street Fighter 2, that's sick. Chun-Li is sick. Like he wasn't a big gamer, so like Street Fighter 2 was still like, the premier game.
absolutely.
So he showed me that. I fell in love. I was just mashing punch with Honda. That's all I was doing. Okay, nothing too crazy. And then I just played Mortal Kombat for my teens and I guess my early 20s until I started diving back in with Dragon Ball Fighters. I want to say I didn't know what the hell a meaty was until Dragon Ball Fighters. So I would say that was like the birth of like my competitive side,
Mhm.
and just trying to learn, the genre and getting into the scene a lot more. And before then, I was just playing like arcade ladders and trying to see if I could get Reptile and MK1 to show up.
Where I think MK1 was actually my favorite first fighting game, like my first real fighting game. Which is still, honestly, I don't care what anybody says. That game's still fun. It still holds up.
1000%.
Even
Yeah,
even if your blood is gray, I don't care.
Yeah, the sweat.
I definitely know the like SNES Street Fighter 2 to the MK pipeline because that was me. I was Street Fighter 2, then I played I think MK3 on the SNES.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
mean,
know the blood thing was a big issue until like much later. Like the whole gray blood, or if it was purple blood or whatever, green blood. I didn't realize that was an issue in any of those games until like I was like in my late teens and was reading stuff on like GameFAQs.com. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal for when we were kids. I guess the more mature kids at the time, like kids even older than me, like they were like 5 years older. When I was like, were probably like, I want the cool blood, and like I just didn't care. The game was still solid. Like,
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
I was more
Yeah,
obsessed with making Raiden teleport places,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just a fan of the colors, honestly, because Mortal Kombat had that like weird, not mocap, but like the imagery of the actual people, and I was like, that looks sick. I'm playing that.
I think it's like a version of mocap, like an early, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like some kind of like green screen that they had used.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
They
was
literally started like they have a character called Mocap. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, Mortal Kombat's like characters. If you like look at like their lore, like
Oh
man,
boy.
some don't make sense, man. Like,
Ramen, meat.
yeah,
Especially when you get past
Meat?
Deadly
Oh my God.
Alliance. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the 3D MKs get a little funky, but
It does
you
half
know,
the fun though.
Striker.
they're
it's
definitely
not-
a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Striker's cool, man.
Striker was literally like a couple points away from becoming a mall cop, and now he's just
Yeah.
inside of one of the most deadly tournaments of all time.
Just
I mean,
fighting Shao Kahn. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
That's the magic of Mortal Kombat, though. Like any
Yeah.
any dude off the street who is relatively fit can just randomly be called up. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll probably get destroyed because you're going up against like a 8 foot like 4-armed like demigod, but
I mean, there's like a forearm. Yeah, there's Goro who can literally rip people in half, and then here comes Striker with his baton. You got this, buddy. You got it. It be a piece of cake.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Well, I mean, hey, as long as you can beat somebody who has the tattoo, right? You get
I
you
like
get the
that
Mortal
movie.
No,
I don't even
no!
care.
no.
I
No,
agree
Phil.
with him. I agree with him. That movie was fun.
That
was
It
bad.
movie-
wasn't supposed to be good. Okay, the movie was not supposed to be good, and that's the problem. Did you watch the originals?
Yes,
Those
They're better.
Those
Those
weren't good
90s,
either.
they're
those
better.
had 90s charm though.
Okay,
Those had
look.
90s That's a whole different.
Take the second one out of the conversation, okay? Put that in the corner, okay? The first one is a great, probably the best 90s like video game movie. Come on, that you can come up with.
Okay,
I'm just
gonna
saying.
say
Not
something
hitting a
that's
high bar
I am a
here.
NetherRealm
No, right?
media guy.
Setting a
Okay?
real
This is gonna be
high bar.
super hot take when it comes to this. That movie is 90% carried by its theme song.
Well, it has some
Alright,
great character
75.
actors, I would say.
It has good
75,
marketing. I'll
yeah.
give you that one. It has
That
really good marketing.
song is living on to this day.
That is true. That is
And-
true.
My
a
issue,
banger.
like, there's just certain parts of that movie that was good for a 90s like action flick. It was good. There's more fighting in that movie than pretty much any other movie. And Lumi can attest this. We watched the Street Fighter movie together, right?
We did.
And-
Look, it doesn't have bison bucks though.
Yeah.
That movie is legendary in its own right, yeah.
Turn the channel.
Yeah.
For me, it was
But,
Tuesday.
like that, the original Mortal Kombat movies were good for its time, but this new movie was good for its time too. Like, just hear me out. Yes.
Enjoyed it. I don't know if
Did they have some sins in that movie? 100%. There's gonna have some no-name kill Goro. Bullshit. Like, there's no way that was gonna happen. Spoiler alert, by the way, for the people that haven't watched the movie.
Look, he's
like-
about
Wow.
to suck out his soul.
Everyone
back-
who's wanted to watch that movie has seen that movie at this point.
In the original one, they had like no lore to it. Mortal Kombat had almost no lore to it. They just wrapped up like Mortal Kombat 3 Gold, I think. Like, so there's no lore to Mortal Kombat at the time. So like when they finally released those, like it was fine back then. Now they have more stuff, and you know how these new directors are doing like creative things. Like look what the MCU did. Some of those MCU characters, those are not what they were in the comics. They've changed them drastically to make them more modernized, and they were just trying to do that with Mortal Kombat. Did they make some missteps? 100%, but I still think it was a good movie considering, and I can't wait for the next one.
I feel like making
I-
a good
yeah.
video game movie is a
For
hard
the
challenge.
next one, but
Yeah, because you could just let me ask you guys a question. If it was just a full 1-to-1 recreation of the first Mortal Kombat tournament, like MK1, would you pay money to see it?
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No changes whatsoever. It's exactly like
I
what you
would.
think it is. Yeah?
I absolutely would, yeah.
Yeah?
I don't think I would.
I don't think I would either. I'm gonna be honest. I want
think I just
Look.
want something different.
something new.
This is
Yeah,
this is before the Mortal Kombat. They're gonna do it anyway. I don't like. It's going to go into it. So either way, we're gonna get there. Like I don't have a problem with it being like a prequel to the Mortal Kombat tournament. That's fine. But I could say that you could make some tweaks and make that movie 100% better. Like just
Are
take
you just Kung Lao died? Be honest.
Oh,
Are you
no.
just-
No. Like
Wait, are we talking about the new movie or the old movie now?
the 2020 movie, I think 2021 maybe.
Yeah. Around
Yeah.
there.
So
yeah.
just
was-
like
I think it was
delete the
last
new
year, yeah.
guy and have Johnny Cage be the
Yes.
Oh my
Actually,
God,
yes. That would be
character.
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Well, the funny part about this movie is all of the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff was fire.
It
All of the ninja
was.
stuff was amazing. It was just everything after that with this new like Cole MMA stuff. I was like, it's very.
They spent the money on the Sub-Zero.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's the entire budget. Is that first scene is
Yeah.
amazing, and it's like, oh shit, I am so ready for this movie. And then it's
I
like,
popped off.
Yeah.
I
don't know if
popped
you
up
guys-
so hard when I heard "Get Over Here." I was like,
Oh yeah. That
"Yo,
was-
let's go!"
Let's go.
Let's
Like,
go!
you know, he
I'm gonna
said
watch
the
the movie
thing.
tonight now.
Let's
Thank
go,
you.
guys. But yeah, did you guys see the? I think it was a YouTube series. It was like MK Armageddon. I don't know if it was Armageddon, but it was like a web
remember.
series.
Was it the
Yeah.
one with
the
Jerry
boat?
Ryan from Star Trek?
Yep.
Yes.
He quit
Yep.
Sonya? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, there was most of the episodes were really good.
oh
Like-
wait, are you talking about the live action TV show,
Yes.
Wait,
I don't
wait.
know if it was a
The-
TV show.
the web
No, no.
series, the web series?
Yes, the web
Okay,
series.
okay, yeah, the one with Michael Jai White. Yeah,
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Conquest. Conquest was an awesome show too. That was the Kung Lao show, but that was like the 2000s.
Yeah, that was a way for Turner TV to like get wrestlers into TV every week. That was hilarious.
Okay, that was fun. That was fun shit.
Yeah, but
Uh,
that particular series I had a blast with. That was especially the Cyrex and Sector episode. Just the choreography in the episode's insane. Oh,
Mm.
did,
I
did you
suggest you guys go watch it.
did you ever
Yeah.
see the live action Street Fighter that they made? It's like the same. It's a web series.
Assassin's Fist.
Assassin's Fist.
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
the college
Oh,
humor
it's so
one.
good. No. So these, I don't even remember what they were. There was basically two guys that were really into Street Fighter, and they wanted to make their own Street Fighter thing. So they
Yeah.
did. I think they're both martial artists too. And it's called the first one, which was the only good one, was called Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, which follows like the origin stories of like Ken and Ryu, and then the first time they meet Akuma, and it's so good.
It's really good.
I
check
have
it
not
out.
watched that. I thought it was like I don't know if it was a web series. I thought it was actually like just like a 10-minute video on YouTube. I'll go check that out.
It's cheesy, but I mean they do little things like they explain why Ken has a different fighting style than Ryu. Like they do like little things like that. And then the weird thing was that they chose to, for some reason, after that season, Street Fighter V came out, so they tried to bank on it. And then they just made they skipped ahead in the timeline. It was really weird.
Basically, I bet because it got a lot of pop. Like a lot of people were saying
Yeah.
like this is the best live action piece of Street Fighter content. So I bet what happened is like Capcom came to them and it's like, listen, we want you guys to make more, but it's got to be on Street Fighter V. And they were like, okay, how much money are you going to give us? And Capcom was like, money? No, this is for both of us. You're not getting any money. So it was super low budget and super bad. I think Laura shows up for like half a second. It does nothing.
Oh, really?
And it's like, this didn't need to be made, guys. You guys had already hit it big.
They also have like Nash in there for like a little bit, but
It's not good. But the first one is great. Assassin's Fist is amazing. I think you can buy it on DVD now too. If anyone still buys DVDs.
yeah, it's like it takes place like before like the Alpha series, like going into the Alpha series, and it's pretty cool. But we should probably jump back into the interview here real quick so we can keep it pushing. So Lumi, how did you get started in editing? And was it intimidating editing for like bigger FGC personalities like Justin Wong, Crazy K, and Day Killsage?
Yes. Yes to all the above.
Yes.
But I'll get into it. So I had always loved doing like videos and stuff like that. I've
Mhm.
been watching videos since a kid on YouTube and stuff like that. Arguably, it's what I wanted to do, right? It wasn't really until like literally last year, in which I started to pick it up, and I was just on like Shotcut, which is like a free or like DaVinci Resolve, like those like
Yeah,
free
Free websites.
video processors and stuff like that. Just learning like simple cuts and stuff like that. Because at the time I was making Dungeons and Dragons videos.
Right.
My
I
man.
slowly started to get into like, fighting game videos, would do that. And then something just clicked. Like immediately, I had a lot of help, arguably, from some friends. Phil, this has definitely helped me out with some stuff, some second opinion stuff. Definitely huge shout out to Purple Sharpie. She basically like set me up with like Premiere and just like walked me through like some really basic stuff. And then I just hit the ball running from there. Like I ran and I just went. Every single video that I would do on my page was an experiment. It was to try a new effect, to try a transition, to do something. And I arguably think that's one of the best ways to learn editing is just to make small videos. TikTok is arguably perfect for this.
Mhm.
And I would just make small videos and just practice my editing techniques. After a while, I started to realize that Justin Wong, uh, and and some other people were interested on TikTok, and they were on TikTok, but arguably the videos look terrible. I'm sorry, Justin. Like, I love you, man, but we can't see the combo that you're doing. So I literally just DM'd him. I was like, hey, man, huge fan of what you do. I'm really interested to see if you would like to have a chat with me and we could talk about maybe like some video editing techniques and stuff like that. After a while, lo and behold, I am now Justin Wong's editor on TikTok. That was surreal. So I just hit the ball running on that, uh, developing assets and stuff like that. And I still kind of work that way to this day.
Hmm.
If there's a particular technique that I need to learn, it's probably because I'm either getting paid to do it, or if it's just like that looks cool, I want to emulate that, and we'll do that. And that's kind of how I approach editing in general, is by
Yeah.
just consuming content, seeing if something looks cool, and then just trying to emulate it or put my own twist or spin into it. And
No,
the other clients just kind of like came right in afterwards. Like I would just talk to Kizzy, and I would talk to DeKill Sage and get them on TikTok as well. So
uh,
yeah,
I know that like especially like and I'm gonna get into this a little bit later, but TikTok is heavily underutilized right now by a lot of bigger like YouTubers and streamers even. And like I know okay, I'll give you an example. And kind of everybody knows a little bit of everybody in sort of like the Purple Sharpie, kind of knows the people from Super Best Friends
God.
Play, right? And so there was a guy who I would like stumble upon who had like a fan site of Castle Super Beast.
yes,
And literally that guy like just got a message from the people from Castle Super Beast like, "Hey, you want to be our editor?" And then he just got a job from them. And then he became the guy who started working for Woolly Versus. And it's like it was weird because I listened to their podcast, but I'm also on TikTok watching it happen, and then it just kind of all comes together and people talking about it. And it's just sort of it's strange, but it just means that like TikTok in general, there's a lot of opportunity that is, being unfolded. So with that,
I should like to piggyback off of that if you don't mind for a second there,
Same,
Matt.
same.
Like I really think it's a growing process. Like Lumi kind of he took a risk, you know what I mean, and it 100% paid off for him. But
Mhm.
he's also
yeah,
proved himself over the time, right? So like uh up to now, like I think Justin's like a little under 100 away from like a 10,000 followers. Like
Mhm.
that's crazy. Like that's amazing, and Lumi is
yeah,
gonna be able to pop some champagne when that time comes for
yeah.
being able to get
Just
Justin
to
there.
chime in, we started at 2K. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
and
started at 2K.
Nice.
I've helped certain people myself, like get like certain roles of people that like just were doing basic content, like learned how to do some little editing skills. And there are other little things that are like slowly happening that were. You mentioned that we are small, but you can start seeing like the flowers like starting to open up,
Yep.
like where the community is actually starting to bud a little bit, and we're just not a bunch of guys running around hosting tournaments and like making goofy videos anymore. We're like starting to be taken seriously as content creators, and it's really beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Very, very underrated.
Nice.
As someone that's someone outside of TikTok looking in, I feel like it would also be an amazing tool and resource for like the lab monster, tech monster complex too. Because like you find some new tech, you can just be like, hey, I'm gonna post this on TikTok and like let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, I call them clip talkers.
Clip
Clip
talkers.
Lip
um,
talkers.
yes, we given them a name. Uh, Now, with that said, there are plenty of people that actually take it seriously, like you're saying, like try to have find new creative thing. But there are a huge bunch of people that just straight up steal other people's content and post it on there. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
you've watched the Office clip channels that just show up every 5 minutes on TikTok, where it's just that people are just posting clips of The Office, and it's the same. They've literally posted the same clip 5 times now. But they just have a routine where they post it's literally an episode of The Office, and they just post little bits every single day, and it's just and they have like almost 100,000 followers, and it makes me want to cry inside.
Is that the play?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good way to grow quickly.
Yeah, you're dooming yourself in the future.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself into a hole. To piggyback off of that, I had actually witnessed something that in the FGC, someone was doing something like the Woolly Versus stuff, but for Macs. But just like straight up ripping the content and just uploading it, and I'm like,
Oh.
I think Lumi sent me the video of that. And it's like the unofficial Maximilian fan channel, and I'm like, no.
Well, like I said, that's how those other people started working for Castle Super Beast. Is they made unofficial fan channels, so it's like it kind of paid off, you know.
Yeah.
I personally like my the content to be a little bit more transformative, but obviously I don't have any say over how other people make their content or go about what they do or what their journey is in content creation. So I mean, it's not really like a huge thing for me, and I think that Castle Beast is like a really great example of someone that put in the work, but also did the due diligence, and now has an amazing opportunity, I imagine, to work with some people that they're a fan of, right?
I'm not sure if you guys know who Asmongold is.
I do.
He's another one that did that. There was somebody that was like, it was a YouTube channel that was like close to like 200,000 subscribers. That was just Asmongold clips, and Asmongold just, hey, stop doing this. Do you want to work for me? And he's like, sure, and just hired him. Boom, the guy now has a full-time job, probably good for the rest of his life with how much Asmongold makes.
For sure. Yeah, that guy's set.
Yeah,
maybe that is the move, Lumi.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about it, you're like, you know what? This might be the move. And now, with that said, you could get sued, but hey, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Absolutely.
There's two sides. You just flip a coin. Sued or, make it.
Yeah. And then, so the few times I've talked to you, I've always gotten the impression, and maybe it's the beard, but I've always gotten the impression that you're a bit of an old soul, Lumi. If you told me you were in your early 20s, I would not believe you. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're a grown ass 40-year-old man with a family of 4. Okay, with that, what is a piece of advice that you think shaped you as a person?
That's a good question. Do you know my age, by the way?
You're 23, 24?
23. I am 23.
Yeah, I mean, I do my homework.
Yeah, no, you do. That's good stuff, man. That's good homework. That's good stuff. Advice that's shaped me. Well, I mean, there's a few. I would say the most relevant one right now is say day one and not one day. In my early 20s, it's kind of like a weird time when you're trying to figure out what exactly you kind of just want to do, arguably for the rest of your life, right? Working on, contract jobs, getting jobs and stuff like that. My life right now just isn't really stable or steady, right? I don't have a baseline just yet, as I'm I guess just establishing myself as a human being. So, when things get hard and stuff like that, I just like to tell myself there is no tomorrow. Day one, let's go.
Yep.
Because if you keep saying one day, you'll say one day for the rest of your life, and I don't want to live it with any regrets. So that's kind of the mantra I've taken up.
There's that super famous line about the best time to start something is yesterday, and the next best time is right now.
Yeah.
And I know I give you a hard time about looking a bit older, but it's all
No, it's all jokes. I love
it's all
it.
jokes. Yeah, okay.
I live for this stuff.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Did you know Lumi's 7 feet tall?
Stop. Shut up.
Whoa.
7 feet tall.
Like
not
Abraham
7 feet tall.
Lincoln, dude.
No, he's gaslighting all of you.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know. I'm just
He's
messing with you, Lumi. It's actually 6'8".
Whoa.
He's super.
He's like
tall.
Andre the
little shorter
Giant.
than that. A little
Yeah,
shorter.
modest.
I got pictures of us at Combo Breaker, and he was towering over me. Towering.
It's always strange when you see like how sometimes people's voices don't match how tall they are. Like I don't know if that makes it. Like obviously you're seeing like me. I could be like 5'6" for all you know, with like a giant wide body or something. I don't know. It's always strange when you see the people you're used to seeing them through a screen in real life.
The camera adds 10 pounds, right? So.
It certainly does.
Does it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Retro that to dare Lumi to stand up. That's a donation goal.
Yeah.
It's a donation goal, yeah.
Yeah. We actually, I think we put that on there that Lumi will reveal his actual height if at like 1,700.
Is it like
raise that money?
See, you need stuff like that. It's like Max like never revealing his true age. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever if you watch lots of Max's streams, but like he'll never tell people like if his age ever comes up, he finds a way to defer the question so that no one ever really knows how truly old he is.
We
I
all
think
know
we-
he's like an ancient sage of the FGC. It's fine.
We do have a rough date though. I know that is the case. I remember like watching like it was like a stream one day that he read something. He's like, you know what? That's not wrong. It was something around the terms that like he actually admitted an exact day of something when he was younger, and then related it to the release, I think, of Tekken 2. So of the American release of Tekken 2. So we have like a rough idea now of where he's at. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's like where he is now. I think he's in his early 40s. I think is where he was at.
Yeah, he's at least 40.
I honestly
Gotta be.
think that I thought he was like 36 or 37, but I could be wrong. Do you think he's in his early 40s?
All his friends are older than that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when I was a kid, like I just missed the arcade where Tekken 3 was popular. Like when I was a teenager, like Tekken 4 and Tekken 5 were already in the arcades, like when I was a teenager. So like
He
him,
dates himself when he talks about his history.
he
all the
does
time.
very much so. Like
All
he's
the
talking
time.
about like I didn't see a KOF or SNK cabinet when I grew up. They just didn't exist in my area. So like when he talks about it, I'm like he's lying. Those didn't exist. But he's a Cali boy, right?
Yeah, SoCal, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, he definitely had some KOF arcade cabinets, and those were the first arcade cabinets that kind of started disappearing. You know what I mean? When like I guess you'd say the culling of arcades started happening. So I don't know. I think he's in his like early 40s. That's my thing. I hope he's not that old. I want him to be young and thriving forever.
I think the last time I checked, he was like in his late 30s. So that's probably why I think he's still in his late 30s.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, regardless, he's aging pretty well. So
Yes.
Yeah,
Really
for
He
so.
sure.
takes care of himself. He's always talking about how he like goes to the gym and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
He has a kid to take care of now.
It's true.
That I would
He
imagine.
does.
Happy Father's Day, Max. By the way, if you're watching this,
She's adorable.
by the
Yes.
the slim chance that he's
you don't know that back.
you never know.
Yeah,
Watching this.
backlog.
Oh
Max is
man.
just lurking.
He's
We just
writing
have
it all down
10,000
like
viewers.
backlog said this, and I'm never gonna, have any
Max,
sort of
right now,
career.
just say something in chat, just so Backlog knows.
Do
You
it.
can.
We'll wait.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Phil. So I guess we can move on to you.
Oh boy.
What have been the challenges of creating the backbone of FGC TikTok, which in my opinion, you're definitely up there, as one of them. It's shocking how underutilized and ignored TikTok is, and we've kind of talked about that for a platform for bigger FGC TikTok or FGC members, like obviously Lumi here. He got his job with Justin Wong. Where would you like to see FGC TikTok in the near future?
It's like two answers. The immediate answer in my brain is just keep on growing. Nothing's gonna happen overnight. I've learned that the hard way over the last few years. Nothing's gonna happen overnight, and I think everyone within the community is putting in their most of the community is putting in their fair share of work to help grow the community. I think part of the reason there is the small stigma of TikTok. It's just the place you go for thirst traps, and I know that's going to be something that's going to haunt TikTok for a very long time. There's no getting rid of that. You're just like
To be
the
fair,
dancing and stuff like that. That's not going to go
Right
away.
pant yoga. What are you gonna do?
to be fair, they feed you the thirst traps. It's
They
not
really do.
fair.
They
It's
shove it down your
like
throat.
sometimes
That's
I'll
what-
just be
that's what
strolling.
everyone's
I'll see.
watching.
I swear to God, I'll see like 6 to 10, and I'm like, why are you showing me this? I just want.
They're
Yeah.
the most popular videos.
Yeah, he's not wrong. That and
the
comedy
algorithm.
videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a huge stigma for the other part of the FGC. That's usually like, I don't want to get on TikTok. Like that's a weird place. Also, TikTok or Musically before it was formerly, it's still kind of considered like the kids app.
Yeah,
And
the dancing app, right?
yeah, so a lot of people
yeah.
don't take it seriously yet. And I don't want to quote Gary V, but I have to here.
I'm sorry that
Yeah.
I always bring up Gary V every conversation we have. Go on.
But he's not wrong where it's I forgot the exact way he worded it, but it's too important to not ignore it.
Mhm.
Like the fact that you're like, I'm not going to get on it because it's the kid thing, that's the wrong decision. Like you should be at least putting some effort, at least looking into it, because it could assist you. Like I did it as a whim. I just need everyone, like I think I mentioned in the last podcast, I did a video because Super Noon made a joke on told everyone he was not making Dragon Ball Fighters videos anymore, or not playing Dragon Ball Fighters anymore. So I made a skit about it, and it did it well enough where I wanted to make more. And look where I am now. So this all started from one tweet,
Nice.
right? And it was a joke, and I'm now like helping build a community.
Yeah.
So
Like you blink and it's just like, whoa. Like
it happened really quick.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys come from?
When it comes to struggles, I think the biggest struggle is there's of course any issues within any community, like power struggles and stuff. I've tried my very best to make it clear, like I'm not in charge of anyone. Like
Yeah.
there's always gonna be those kind of issues where people's like, I don't understand why you're making all the decisions. I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm bringing it to everyone. This is my best idea, and then you give me an idea that completely contradicts it. It doesn't help the community, but it helps you. So like those issues are always going to come up in any type of building exercise or building a community in any way. But overall, I think the biggest struggle we're going to have is just like getting that stigma away. We have some really solid content creators. Like I see Retro's in chat right now as an example. Retro's a great content creator. In fact, he's like the only guy I would go to that I met through TikTok to teach me how to fix up my fight stick. Like he's like the guy you would go to fix a fight stick, hitbox, etc. He's the guy you would go to. Lumi, he's the guy I would go to for editing and learning the basics about fighting games. He did the notation video not so long ago, like what rollback netcode is. He's done a bunch of stuff on TikTok. Everyone has kind of like their own role, within the community. And then there's new people finding stuff every day to like post and like promote the community. So getting noticed is going to take time. And I mean, I don't expect to be only on TikTok forever. I hope one day that I can move on to like YouTube and Twitch, and I can do that full time. But as of right now, I think FGC TikTok is in a good spot, and I like that it's growing still. And I have a lot of honestly, there's people that are behind that are growing right now that are going to beat me. I can see it already.
I think
currently.
But I mean,
There's
even if they
there's a few of
do
them.
beat you, it's not like no one can actually take your
Yeah.
place as a person. I mean,
It's
like,
not a zero-sum game,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Not
like
a race either.
yeah, it's. I mean, and it's always it's kind of bound to happen. Like people have to walk so other people can run. Unfortunately, it's like sometimes you come in too early in a situation. One thing I actually want
That's
to
how
ask
YouTube
you.
was built, you know?
Yeah, some people just like blow the hell up, and you're like, oh, I don't know why, but it just happens.
I'll be completely transparent. Like when My Life is an RPG exploded in popularity. Lumi can attest this. I was salty as shit. I was so angry. But like now I consider RPG one of my best friends, and like
Seems like a really
it's
nice
just,
guy.
like, he's the sweetest guy on the planet. And like at the beginning I was salty about it, but it had nothing to do with him. It's just how the algorithm worked. It was just the way the cards fell. But like you learn. So
I'll be honest with you, like I see, like I could say that I've had those moments where I see people who like I don't understand like the view to follower ratio to their videos. Like it doesn't sometimes people have like way more followers than their videos are getting views for, and I'm like, why? And their videos are not like they're not anything in particularly special, and I don't like I don't understand that. But then again, it's like sometimes TikTok just like he's like you, and then
Yeah.
like like I don't understand why, but then it'll be like you, and then all of a sudden somebody will just get tons of followers for posting 5 videos that someone had to post like 100 for.
I can attest and say that Phil and I have lost hair trying to figure out this
Bro.
algorithm. It's
It
not
just
working.
changes like every few months. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
it's
a
just
day, and I'm sorry I'm stealing your story here, Lumi, because this is
Go for it.
100% about you. But me and Lumi were literally complaining. Like I was talking about how one of my videos, in my mind, as a comedian, like that was funny. I know that should have done well. I would send it to my comedian buddies, and they're like, "Yeah, that was hilarious," and then nothing happens. Lumi posted a video with the littlest effort possible, and it was one of his most successful videos overnight.
Yeah.
Not even
Literally just him
joking.
looking into a camera.
It took 7 seconds to make. 7. I recorded for 5 seconds, and then I just typed a caption for like 2. Posted it immediately with like bare bones, like hardly any hashtags, anything like that. Boom, exploded. And I'm just like,
Killed it.
I was angry. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't
Why does
even
this
edit
work?
this. Like, but yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's the one where it's like, okay, now do the combo facing left.
Oh yeah.
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 Which by the way, like I totally stole that. That's not like an original thing. I've heard that before, but I just posted it because I thought it was funny. And everyone's like, oh no, like I could do the combo, I could do this, like, and I don't know, the engagement just went crazy. But yeah, like trying to like I said before, just trying to figure out TikTok is almost like it's like chasing your tail. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna catch it.
My
Like,
my views have varied from like I've had 300 and then I'll have like 30,000 views and it's like the same quality of video and I'm like why this doesn't make any fucking sense. And
shows you that day. It was like,
yeah,
hey,
just
you.
yeah, exactly, you.
Come forward.
But yeah, and this is something that I've kind of felt and thought about a little bit, and it's something I've kind of observed over time. Do you feel like that you guys have to walk on eggshells a lot of times? Because I feel like sometimes, especially with like having so many eyes on you, that you're worried about saying something wrong or something that might offend somebody. Because personally, me, I try not to give a fuck about what other people think. I mean, this is just me. Like, they're like, oh, you're reposting content. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna repost content because I'm making content. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, they're clip people. Who gives a shit what those people think? Like, make the thing, do the thing, and just do work, and then figure out the rest later. Sometimes when I hear these things, I'm like, well, are you worried? Do you worry about what other people think? And if you do, it's okay. We all do. You know what I mean? But like when there's a lot of eyes on you, does it kind of magnify those feelings?
Well, I think this is definitely more towards Phil, considering he's the guy with the big number. But
Big number go up.
Big
Phil,
number 2 combo.
do you want to share first?
I guess, and this is more. I'm not saying that you have to be older to be more mature in any way, but like I just learned throughout the years that like I don't really. I'm gonna post what I want. However, there are things I definitely won't talk about. That's definitely the case. I'm not gonna be dumb and talk about something that's gonna clearly make my community mad at me. That just doesn't make sense. I'll be honest with them. That's something I definitely do. I've made it very blatantly clear I'm not a big fan of arena fighters, anime fighters. Not a fan. I've said that for a very long time. I make fun of Smash viciously because I think what I'm saying about the Smash community is very accurate from my past. So like when I say stuff, I'm not doing it in a mean way. I'm just being like honest. Like there are certain topics I clearly am not going to talk about.
Right.
Like especially whenever there's uh not to call him out in any way, whatever the button check covers, I very rarely will check. I am not a drama or like a rumor mill channel. I refuse to do that. Yes, there are times where a pro player will do something that's so stupid I can't ignore it. There's sometimes that does happen. I'm not going to say any names. Lumi's laughing because I know he knows. We saw him at Combo Breaker. But there's my own opinion. I'm just going to do what I want, and if the people's opinion of me changes because of what I post, that's on them. But there's no viciousness in my heart in any way. So
I mean, I didn't think that there was per se, but I was just saying, is that something that you in particular worry about?
Oh, and worry about? Maybe for a second or two. If I'm that stressed about it, I'll message someone. Let me give you an example. I'll even say what the meme was. I was gonna make a video question for everyone on TikTok. All right, Lumi, I told him about this, and I'm like, he's like, send it, and I'm like, I can't do it. I was gonna ask the question to everyone on TikTok: what is something you can say in a fighting game and also in the bedroom?
That sounds like fun.
I did not post it.
Oh no,
I didn't, because I have a lot of 13, 12-year-olds in my channel.
See, that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
like,
yeah,
I can do stuff. I can do innuendo. I've done it before, but that is very on the nose. What me asking that question, so I just couldn't do it. There's other times I was gonna post stuff that I just didn't have the more or less I didn't have the balls to do it, because like I know where I want to be in like the next 10 years, and I just know that's the kind of stuff that like I don't want to be known for it. Because if that was my video that exploded with like 2 million views, is
There it is.
oh, he's the fighting game guy that likes to talk about sex, I would be crushed. You know what I mean? I'm okay with taking one step back. But that was one quick worry. I remember messaging Lumi about it. Like, can I post this? Lumi's like, full send it, do it.
Yeah, I was the devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, I would absolutely do the same. I'd be like, yeah, why not? Do it.
But like
when
that
Phil explained
worry,
it to me,
I just
was
needed
like,
to talk to someone about it and figure it out. And I was worried about it for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, you know what? I made the decision and cut it there, and I just no longer stressed about it. Like, that's how I do it. But like, I understand everyone has their own way of handling stuff.
I can say that from my point of view, it's like I have like conflicting ideas on, well, like I have a podcast and we say whatever the hell we want on here, and then I play video games, and probably younger kids like those video games, and so it's like these two different sort of spectrums of things. And I'm like, I'm kind of just hoping, well, people will find you either way, but that's not how algorithms work most of the time. So it's like, oh, should I make another channel for my podcast? And then it's like, most people said no, and but then again, I'm like, there's a lot that I'm sort of undecided about in terms of what I should do. But maybe that's something that I can, if you guys are okay with it, I can ask you guys about later on, or maybe send you a message or something about it. But
1000%. If you need advice or just like a second opinion, feel free to hit me up, dude.
Yeah,
1000%.
absolutely.
I was about to lead into that. I think that a support system is important. Like just having, like Phil exactly said, that second opinion or that guy. Not even because I said the opposite. I was like, post it. But it wasn't necessarily him asking me. It was him working out the idea and just me using me as like a ping pong ball to like, back and forth. And that's exactly what I do with my stuff. I would say I'm less careful with some of the content that I post. If I want to post something, I'll usually post it. I understand that, my audience isn't really, I don't actually know what my demographic is at all. So it's not really like, I'm just going to be me, obviously avoid certain topics, but other than that, like it's either be damned or damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Like if you are just this husk that doesn't share any opinions, you're going to hate your time on the camera. But if you're on the internet and if you're sharing an opinion, someone is going to despise you. Even if it's like, I like the color green. It's like, no, that's wrong. Like, so you just gotta like take it on the chin and be like, screw it. Like I'm just gonna be who I am. That's kind of how I approach it, I suppose.
Yeah, totally.
I think
I'm
that's
always willing, like backlog. I've done it with you before. I know I'm not the best at responding as quickly, and I apologize
yeah.
for that. But like I totally like. I think that's something. You're not the only person that's messaging me. I know Lumi gets messages from everyone in the community as well, asking. Lumi's kind of like the backbone of us. Like if it wasn't for a lot of people, just rely on.
I'm
Lumi.
like the low key. I'm
Maybe
just
like the coccyx.
Yeah, I'm in the shadows.
Tailbone.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly.
We need Lumi around. But yeah, I think that I am gonna reverberate what Lumi just said. Having someone to talk about, especially when it comes to like how you're making content. Also, they can point something out that you may not be seeing. That's definitely I've noticed was very helpful. Having like not obviously reviewing, but just talking someone over and thinking about something, like definitely really helps. Having the extra body.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that comes to most content creation in general. Like a lot of good content creation is a collaborative process. So you're gonna want to talk to your peers or the people that like whose opinion you respect on making content to try to make your content better. You know, I mean, just like fighting games, honestly. Like how do you sharpen your sword? You play against other people.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. Like, I think I was watching like an interview with Mr. Beast, and he said one of the most valuable things he ever had was somebody who told him that his content sucked. And he's like, "Oh yeah, your content sucks." And he's like, he said how like he posted a video and one of his friends watching. It's like this video was terrible. Why didn't you do this, this, and this? And I'm like, I would love if somebody did that. That's again, that's invaluable. Like somebody telling you that you're bad at something is a good thing. Anyway,
100%.
Someone
To an extent.
someone telling you why they think you're bad.
Yes.
There you go.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive
Not
criticism. Yeah.
Not just criticism.
You
I
suck.
like-
Now that-
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You're garbage. Just quit.
Yeah. Just like, yo, stop making videos, bro. Like, what are you doing? Yeah,
There
exactly.
is actually not that I'm piggyback saying I want that. I don't, but there have been comments like I've gotten that before that just motivate me even more. To be fair, I've got
just do the same thing.
comments, and it not that like it does make me look at it when I get some nasty comment, but I just like will like just take it with a grain of salt. But I'm like, okay, well now I'm gonna make 6 videos next week. Like it just motivates me more to be like, well, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna prove to you. You and your NPC comment. I'm not gonna take it from you right now. I'm just gonna makes me work even harder. So
Skyrim dialogue.
not saying I enjoy those, by the way, because after a certain amount, those do start to weigh heavy on your soul.
It's little stings.
Yeah.
So
1,000 cuts.
So I'm gonna blast through these next 2 questions because we only got through one of them, which I'm still shocked about. Next 2 questions, and then we can go straight to current events. It's fine. This is great stuff. Like honestly, a lot of times tangents are more interesting than the questions themselves. So
What we do here is tangents.
that's part of the advertisement of the podcast.
We'll do is tangents.
As an NRS stan, what would you like to see released first, MK12 or Injustice 3? And what do you think they need to improve on previous iterations?
I definitely want Injustice 3.
Word.
Injustice 2 is my game. I'm kind of scared that if Injustice 3 comes out, it's not going to be Injustice 2, just fixing all the issues with all of the zoners. But the biggest issue I have with if I'm going to just look at the last 2 games, the biggest issue with Injustice 2 is their single player mode was probably the best that any fighting game has ever had.
I agree.
Their single player mode was the best. It even beats MK11. MK11 took a giant step back to compensate with the fact that there was so many zoners, and it became a zone fest and no one wanted to play it. You had to play at a snail's pace slow in Injustice 2, and no one wanted to do that. In MK11, they try to counter that by making the game very footsie based, and with that happen, they didn't get rid of the projectiles for all the characters, which made it still slow. So having every single character in the next NetherRealm game, I just think everyone's projectiles need to have a reload function.
You mean like?
That would actually.
Sorry,
Baron Black should not just be able to do this.
Grand Blue.
Grand Blue is a good example. Happy Chaos is an example, but I'm no happy cast is
Oh
horrible,
my
but
fucking
like the
god!
fact you have to reload your gun, I think is crucial.
So like resource management is what you're trying to
Yes.
say. Yeah.
If you're going to like, there's like, for example, I don't know how much of you know about firearms. I don't, but I did a quick Google search. The pistol that Cassie has only has like 8 bullets. She should not be able to zone you out with those 8. After 8 bullets, she should have to.
Yeah, reload.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's if they added that one extra step, it's
That's
fine.
true.
And this also goes for any type of magic user. Like there's something called mana. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Fate should not be able to spam the same ball over and over. He needs to recharge. Same thing with Superman. His eye, like if you watch anything from Superman, at a certain point his eyes start getting red. It hurts him to do that for a prolonged time. Like there's ways for us to manage that. And I think if you actually did some type of resource management, like Lumi just said, for the projectiles, it's kept that footsie based style and keep that really dope ass combo system they had in Injustice 2. I loved it. I think that would fix any problem that they had in the last 2 games. Just make sure that you keep all of the stuff they did for the single player mode in Injustice 2, because that was part of the reason I sticked with that game so long, is because there's so much to do. Like, you don't have that in almost any other fighting game. Like, Tekken tried with giving us bowling, but like,
Well, whoa, sir. Tekken bowling is fun.
it
alright?
is after
Top tier game.
it. Yeah,
Try might be an exaggeration with
It's-
Tekken bowling.
yeah.
No, it's no DOA volleyball now. Come on.
Well, it
Now, with that
is.
said, to finish this answer, I would still much rather Ed Boon announce that we're getting the horror character fighting game with all the horror characters
Terradome.
throughout history. Pretty much, yeah, the original Terradome, but in NetherRealm style. Bring us Freddy, Mike Myers, Jason, Alien, Predator, Leatherface,
Leatherface,
Chucky,
yeah.
Jigsaw. I can keep going.
Wouldn't
Like,
you
I'd
love it?
That'd be a
characters.
tricky
That'd be
man.
amazing.
Wouldn't you love it if like they were like, oh yeah, we're making Terradome, like what is it, 3? I think they made Terradome 2, and like like they just collaborated and they used the IP of Terradome, or like maybe they reused that. Like that would be cool. But I mean, of course, that's kind of a long shot in
Yeah.
terms of like.
Terradome is this close to releasing Dracula, by the way.
Oh,
I've been
really?
following their campaign for a while. Yeah, they're about to drop Dracula, and he has a assist where he has 2 of his gal Dracula ladies come in and assist him. It's really cool. If you guys haven't checked out Terradome 2, it's a very low budget game, but it's super cool. It's fun to check out.
Didn't in the second one they like stopped using like Freddy or something like that? They stopped using like the like IPs that could get them sued. Essentially.
Yes. Now they're using characters from cryptozoology, urban legends, and classic, no longer copyrighted IPs like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Van Helsing, stuff like that. They have
Smart.
Bloody Mary in there, Sasquatch.
That's cool.
They have a character that's kind of roughly made off of the Slender Man and It. His name, I believe, is That. There's
It's an
like
amazing name.
I forgot what they named the Slender Man, but something similar to that. But and they also, it's a really cool game. It's on Steam. If you don't want to get it right off the bat, make sure you wish list it, because I don't know if you guys know, when you wish list an indie game, it helps them out so much.
Right.
I have like 4,000 games wish listed, so yeah.
That's my man.
That's
I have, like,
August is the true
3.
backlog.
I'm doing it wrong.
Big facts.
And I don't know if this we kind of covered this a little bit or not, but let's say you put your time in FGC TikTok and get to quit your 9-to-5 job, and I'm sure that's something that you definitely want. What does the next step look like for Phil? Of course, like what would you do as soon as you lost your job, or not lost not lost your
Hire
job?
me as my editor. That'd be
Okay.
the first thing I'd do. I mean, like, if I became a full-time editor, all I would do is just up my level of content. One thing I've definitely been lacking on is original content over on YouTube that I've been desperately wanting to do, and I'd love to be able to do like video essays, which I can do if I just had that extra time. And,
Yeah,
like
takes a long
some of
time.
I have like a word list of ideas that I want to make, that it's just they're long video essays. I just don't have the time to do them. And if I had the extra time to actually edit them and or have someone help, that'd be huge. And I'd like to put on more events. I would love to be hosting like a weekly tournament. Like that's another thing. So I have like long-term goals. I have thousands of them. I'm obviously crunched because of time.
I can't wait until
But yeah,
Phil.
hiring Lumi, building the house, of course, I guess would be the first step, and then whatever goes from there.
It still hurts my soul that Spooky like semi-retired. So if anyone's
Ooh, yeah.
stepping in for
That
that,
whole situation sucked.
more
Like,
power.
It makes me so sad, man.
yeah, like that guy puts, and this is a huge thing that like the more and more like I've been investing my time into the fighting game community, there's a and not even a gigantic, it's a gargantuan disconnect between what players and TOs think like, and it's like these people are. It has nothing to even do with the fact that TOs are getting underpaid. It's just the fact that TOs are getting shit on for no reason. Like it bothers me so much how disrespectful you are to someone who's literally doing something for you. Like the entitlement I see certain people go through for like towards tournament organizers kind of makes me sick to my stomach, and I am so happy that the unfollow button's available, because when I see these people, I will no longer work with them. Like I refuse. They need to do a lot to prove to me that they're, because it's just the stuff I hear and seen and experienced is hilarious. Like it almost is like, how were you raised? Like what
Yeah.
happened? What got you to this point that you're being this disrespectful for someone who's putting on a game for you to play? Like,
Yeah.
you're
That's my
also
biggest
you weren't getting
issue with
top
that.
8. You weren't going to get paid out anyways. What do you mean?
You
Like,
weren't even getting.
You're drowning in pools.
Yeah, you went 0-2. Why are you talking?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's another thing. Like the people that are yell the loudest also happen to lost that day. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
What a
that's my
shock.
biggest FGC red flag is if anyone complains about like if it's a legitimate complaint, I understand. But I've seen a lot of people just be like, "Man, screw TOs," and you're just like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Like,
They do more work for you than anyone in the FGC. Certainly
Yeah.
more than the game companies who just put the games out. I mean,
Ex-
the game companies make the
Certainly
games.
more than
That's-
10 Nintendo, yeah.
Once
Yeah.
the game is out, the game is out. Updates will happen, but like if you want to play in a big competitive setting, you need someone to organize it. And I think a lot of players don't understand the massive amount of work that goes into TOing. Like they're not people that necessarily like live on TOing. Most of them actually have full-time jobs outside of TOing. They just love the game enough and love the community enough to be like, yeah, you know what? I will put my time, effort, and energy outside of the job I already have to make an event for people that love it.
one thing you missed there on that list was money. Because let me tell you, I am in
Money.
the red
Yeah.
from running events. Like, I lost money. I don't care because I really wanted to run those tournaments, and I'm happy that I did. But to say just to say that like, this wasn't like, all that or anything like that. I'm like, dude, like at least tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, man.
It's
People want to play video games and get paid for it, and it's like the disconnect there is.
Just the disrespect there, because it's like these people are putting their time and effort on hand just to make something for you.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
it's weird. Like I don't. It's that weird mentality if people think it's like, oh, it's just a service or a thing that happens or someone takes care of it other than me. Like not realizing that no, like someone has to like show up and do the hard work so you can have a fun time. And they would just be a player at themselves at home doing their own thing if they didn't love the game enough to go through a bunch more bullshit that you have to deal with just to get that to happen.
We have a lot of Karens of the FGC.
100%. I mean, we have a lot of Karens in the gamer community, but I think
Yeah.
the FGC creates a special kind of Karen, and I don't know why.
Now, with this said, the fighting game community is far less toxic than some other communities. Like we're kind of we work together, we team together. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be bad eggs anywhere. You know, I mean, there's never not. Now it sucks a lot when one of them gets really good at pressing buttons. But at the end of the day, we are actually a pretty good community. The fighting game community, we do a good job, guys. Like Team FGC, we do a pretty decent job at it. But
We've
every now and then,
gotten a
there's
lot
some bad
better.
eggs.
Yeah.
Yes, 1000%.
Well, I think one of the best parts about it is that like everyone already assumes and knows it's hard to learn fighting games because it's all individual effort. Like you have to go through and do the hard work, and like team games is a little bit different. But for the FGC, like, more people will show up and like teach you tech or help you or school you on the basics than I feel like any other community, because we want other good players to play against. We want the community to grow, and I think that's one of the best things about the FGC is a lot of people are willing to invest time in other people to make them better more than a lot of other gaming.
I think there's an asterisk there, you know, as long as you don't beat me. But you know, but you know, hey, you know, yeah, I agree. But
I mean, we're already a super like niche community, right? Like we can't turning people away just doesn't make sense. Why not just grow and expand and show like the love of the community? Like I don't know.
yeah, I mean, remember, I just have flashbacks to yesterday of you beating up that first Dan.
Yeah, trial by fire.
Also, somebody say really quick that fighting games are hard to get into to annoy Phil. Really quick, just somebody. Man, fighting games are hard to get into.
They're not that hard to get into.
It's not even I hate that
me.
comment. I'm just sick of hearing it. Like
It's so overblown, and I'm guilty of it as well.
I think we all
But
are.
oh my god, man! Like I've seen 20 million videos on this topic, and they're all pretty much like kind of the same. But I mean, overall, no one's blaming the devs. I'm gonna blame the devs for a second. Can we talk about these fighting game tutorials, because they're really not that intuitive.
What
like,
tutorials?
Exactly. Like, if you need a wiki for your game or a Discord for your game, it's like that's a whole other step that a lot of people aren't going to take, right?
Yeah.
So,
Brady's guide.
I mean, that's kind of that's one of the things the FGC fighting devs certainly are slow on, is that now
we're catching up.
Yeah, we're catching up.
Yeah,
There's a lot more.
We're catching up
like,
for sure.
all the different replay tools and all the other stuff, and like Tekken finally releasing frame data in the game, even though they have to pay for it. Like, they're starting to kind of give players that stuff because they realize there's a culture of like, listen, we want the tools to be able to grow from beginner level play to average to high level play, and like you need a lot of resources for that.
We're going past the arcade. That's what it is.
That's true.
I mean, they were forced to make good netcode because now offline isn't really a thing as much as it was before.
Yeah,
all that
Jojos.
stuff. Yeah, Jojos.
I mean, for better or worse, COVID changed the landscape.
I would love to.
Over that
We'll get there. We'll
Make a
at least
JoJo's
have,
cast.
We'll hit JoJo's.
We'll have all
hit it hard.
Yeah, we'll at least have like 5 minutes to shit on JoJo's coming up pretty soon.
I think also to let you know, I think Phil said that he had to be out of here by like 8 or so.
I have to go start my own stream.
So if it's okay with you guys, I would, you know, if we could get to like, I actually want to ask these two what they think about, I mean, Street Fighter 6, because I haven't got to hear their input, and I also want to hear what they have to say about JoJo's as well. So if we, like, I don't know if we would be able to like rotate into that, like into the current events. Like, can we just delve into that really quick?
Yeah, 1000%, dude.
Sure,
Your show.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm part of it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Understandable.
He does a lot of the writing too. Yeah, so does he. So
my opinion on Street Fighter 6 is very simple. I just want to see Cammy get revealed, and I'll be happy. I'm good.
I want her to only wear pants.
We've already seen her.
No, I didn't.
You don't like the new costume? I like the new costume.
I think all these people that are complaining about her are just the dumbest. I don't get it at all. Who cares what she's dressed like?
I mean, you're literally.
What do you mean?
Still have a
that's where all the
spike
money
if
comes
you're doing
from.
A spiraling arrow, like that's what we should be concerned about. Why do we care if she's wearing
still
pants?
has her outfit.
Look, at the end of the day, Kemi's a function. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally you're literally justifying them selling back her classic costume to you at a higher price, because that's the only thing they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, "Ooh, they want the classic costume? We'll give them the classic costume."
We're getting it. It doesn't even look like it's any kind of DLC. They just showed it.
Yeah,
I just think people want
they
something
showed
to
it.
complain about. Like people are like they're censoring Cammy. No, they're not. Shut up. You're just trying to be angry about something. Why don't you just be happy that the game looks phenomenal and we're
Listen,
gonna
I'm
play the shit out of it?
thirsty.
Well, I mean,
I've never seen Lumi more excited about a game. By the way,
Yeah, I am too. I'm so
Bro,
excited.
I haven't felt.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't felt this way since Street Fighter 4. About it, I know not like the feeling of Street Fighter 4 is mixed, but Street Fighter 4 was like the reason why I play Street Fighter.
It was the resurgence. We had like a huge.
I was
That
an
was the huge
09er,
drought.
so
For me,
Yeah, that
it's akin to like seeing going from Street Fighter 4 to like Street Fighter 4 Ultra.
Street
Like
Fighter
how
4 Omega, yeah. Oh, never mind.
everything changed.
Yeah, Capcom was in a dark age there right before, right? So
Yeah,
like
games were
quite
dark.
literally. So
games
uh,
were just failing left and right.
yeah,
It was
Street
awful.
Fighter 4. I wasn't an 09er. I didn't play Street Fighter 4, but I mean, always grateful for just the what it produced because I mean, you even see mechanics from there going into 6, right? We basically have like a focus
Six has
attack.
everything. 6 has everything. It's great. It's like
Yeah.
3 through 5 combined
Yes,
with a little bit of
1000%.
alpha and a little bit of 2. It's awesome.
V triggers feel like a beta for their drive system.
Yeah, it seems like they. Man, I'm so look. I'm so glad that Ono got fired, and I'm sorry.
Nowhere to
He
go
seems
but up
like-
now.
Don't apologize because it's not a coincidence that Street Fighter 5 got really good as soon as he left.
Yeah,
Right? Like
Right? It got
Because-
more fun. They're like, oh, we're actually gonna embrace fun now and give people
Yeah.
a lot of tools.
I think it's
not-
because they finally realized that ultimately you can cater to beginners, but if you cater to them too much, you make a boring game. Well, I don't know. That's just me.
Look.
yeah,
I mean,
there was also the fact that Street Fighter 5 started as an esports project.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
This was because they were doing CPT and stuff like that for 4, but it was very limited. And with 5, they wanted to like have that crap ready by E3 or like by Evo that year. So they just rushed it. They were like, guys, we got to have this by Evo because we got to have our esports. And like, I'm a fan of esports, don't get me wrong. But like, just seeing the cycle and the launch, I started to realize that it's like, oh, they just want to launch like their new CPT season and they don't actually really care about releasing like a completely finished product. And I mean, that's the biggest criticism of Street Fighter 5. I hear it every day. As a Street Fighter 5 fan, I have to agree. It's a
it
fact.
started really rough.
SF5, honestly,
Mine
I
did.
loved
started
the
in
beta.
negative. It
I
started
liked the
in
beta in
negative.
season 1. It was fun, dude.
They released an unfinished game, in my
They did.
opinion, and
They did.
I
1000%.
and the fact I don't know, like what happened at the launch of Street Fighter 5. As someone who's working with indie game companies right now, Capcom should just have zero respect for themselves for releasing that game. Like, after why I'm working with indie games and how they're like, they have like I can't release it until like I have frame perfect nonsense. Like, you know what I mean? I need rollback first. Like, they have all of these requirements they're putting on themselves, and this is an indie company that's probably going to lose money until like their first or third year into selling the game. And this is Capcom.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. To
I
segue
know
off
we
that,
we need to like have these companies. We need to force these companies to have higher standards for themselves, not for us, but for themselves.
Well, it's the worst part is like which companies? It's the Japanese companies because
Yeah.
like NRS has a lot of problems, but like their single player and 99% of their presentation is buttoned up. The
They
gameplay
have-
mechanics every now and then, but everything else is airtight.
NRS had
MK11
that code figured out like before
Yeah.
anybody else did. Guys, GG, like rollback has been a thing since 2009.
Yep.
And like now that it's
Oh, gross.
industry standard in 2022, that's kind of ridiculous. Like you just have to look at the facts. I feel like a lot of these American companies are definitely like the trendsetters. And that's what they're doing with Project L. I don't know if you guys saw the Japanese roundtable, but they're basically laughing at Riot. They're like, these guys are gonna make a free to play and it's gonna absolutely flop. But when it does do well, because I mean it's League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Let's be real. Like it's
There
gonna
it
it's gonna
is.
do dividends at least in the beginning, right? Like
Yeah, they're gonna have all that arcade
It's gonna
money.
do numbers.
right. Then they're gonna, eat their words and be like, "Oh, yeah, free to play is the way to go." We knew that. Like,
Bro, I mean, like, free to play. Like, look at, speaking of esports, look at Virtua Fighter 5,
Yeah.
Ultimate Show.
Yeah, it's doing great.
This is, I'm just giving it shit. So I, like, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like, because of it, I know we're gonna get Virtua Fighter 6, but also, like, it kind of, fizzled out when it.
I have a
Yeah.
theory behind that, by the way. I don't think we're getting Virtua Fighter 6.
I think we
just thought of
definitely
either.
are. Yeah.
No, I thought of this a couple days ago, and I'm like, It's starting to click. I don't think we're getting Tekken 8 either. I think we're getting VF versus Tekken.
That's
I'd be down.
a pretty good theory, actually.
Here's why.
Okay.
They
Interesting.
just announced Bandai Namco's game this year was Jojos, right? We'll get on that in a minute. But the fact that was their game, and they have Harada says we're working on something. They were like Harada borderline like just didn't talk to the director. Like there was like almost a legitimate hatred towards them in VF, and now they're partnering together. I think this is a test to see if the VF people would come to Tekken and vice versa. Because a lot of Tekken people, I mean, Backlog, you went over to VF and tried it again, right?
I tried it when it came out, and I wanted to play it, but
it wasn't that bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not Tekken. It's a very different game.
It's a very I've grew up playing Virtua Fighter, but they decided to do some very roundabout ways of the online with the remote servers.
God, boy, did they!
Like, why? I don't get why they would just go and buy a server, like remote servers, instead of just investing in, a new online infrastructure when they're just remaking the fucking game with the same framework. But it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I did enjoy it quite a bit. I still had fun.
Going back to what August said a second ago, Japanese company.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I seriously think because there's been no announcements. Like, there's not even been a leak of what game Tekken, if we're getting Tekken or Tekken Tag. There's been nothing. Like, they announced that we're going to do another Tekken tour this year, and that was it. And VF had said nothing at the roundtable. I was 100% expecting VF6 at that roundtable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I will tell you, if I see VF cross Tekken, I'm going to lose my mind. I think that's the most dope thing on the planet.
So it's one of those things where, like,
will it play like VF or Tekken?
I mean, it would probably have a mix, wouldn't it?
they're two different.
Yeah, no.
They're so different, though,
This is
man.
like, to me, like, I still am kind of processing this theory because it's like, to me, it sounds crazy when I first hear it, but the more I think about it, I'd be like, that's just genius branding. Because think about it, like, Tekken 7 was a great and solid product. You don't want to compete with yourself. If they release Tekken 8, that's a little bit competing with yourself. You release a spin-off product, you can grow both brands. Because if you release a VF versus Tekken, you get people interested back in VF for another VX6 later on down the road. And then people will be more hyped for Tekken 8 after a longer wait when they had a game in between. So, yeah, no, that sounds genius. If that's what's going
I just want to see Sarah Bryant versus Nina Williams, man. That's all.
So what is it that makes you think? So you're saying you thought that the Harada was like
he is friendly with the VF guy. I don't know his name. I don't follow VF.
Yu Suzuki?
Yeah,
so the thing that I can say is that Harada feels like he owes a lot to Virtua Fighter because of how much he borrowed from Virtua Fighter when Tekken first came out. Like, Tekken 1 and 2 are literally just ripping off Virtua Fighter in a lot of ways.
Very much so.
So which is why Harada was like, he wants Virtua Fighter to come back because it was Tekken's competitor. And of course, like, you know, over time, like, you know, Tekken kind of took over, but I don't know. See, I think it's more of a friendly competition, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I'll have to think about it more, really. I don't know if I 100% agree.
Interesting.
I'm not 100% either.
Water.
I just think the theory has some merit.
It does, no, for
because
sure.
I think the Tekken Cross Street Fighter is dead. I don't think that's ever happening now. I'm convinced now that.
Please don't say that.
Not
Street
Street
Fighter.
Fighter 6.
I think that's
no
done.
way.
Akuma being added was it. Like, Akuma being added was it. That's my
I
opinion.
hope we never see Akuma in Tekken, by the way. Again, I don't.
Whoa,
It's gonna happen.
Whoa.
I don't
They're gonna
wanna
have a
see
2D character.
projectiles in Tekken ever again.
No, Geese was so
Yeah, that's
awesome.
fair.
What are you talking about?
They're
These
really
was kinda
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
It was fun
Throw
too.
all the 2D
Projectile
out the
is in the wrong
window.
game.
Yeah, why don't we just take out like Negan? Like, I don't like that.
That was a
There's-
weird choice.
There's a bunch of
Negan
weird
plays like a
characters.
Tekken character. He plays more like a Tekken character than a
No,
majority
no, he-
of the DLC characters.
He plays like an asshole. That's why I don't want him in my game.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Just because he's Miguel with a bat.
Get him
That
out of
was-
here.
That was the most
He is
random.
kind of like Miguel of the Bad, isn't he?
There's
Yeah.
something about the way Tekken makes characters, like they're like, we're gonna make the most annoying fucking character ever. And then they just find a way to make uniquely annoying, you
And
know.
they bring back Kunimitsu?
Yeah.
It-
And then
the-
they don't
Kuna
they don't
Mitsu-
give love to the former characters that like have been struggling the entire game, right? Like, oh well, it's a match. Well, if you know the matchup, it's not hard. Like, I love Kuma.
Tekken's very hard to learn.
I love Kuma. I love
Bear
I
man.
love my bear. I will always love my bear. Zero love the entire. If you look at the patch notes,
No
zero
love for
love
Dawn?
the almost entire game.
No love for
Lots of
Dawn.
hate actually because of
Dinosaur?
Rangju.
Yeah, but look at
Yeah.
look at the people that play the Bears. They have like some unfair advantage of like how little people know about them.
Exactly. That's not fair. I don't like that.
Well, I mean,
I don't
yeah.
like it at all.
Like you go and you meet a like when I meet a Bob player, I'm like, what? People play Bob? I usually forget that the character's even in the game. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
never.
enjoy those 18 strings.
That's how I feel about Blanca.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that Blanca's a thing, and then I play against a Blanca, and I just get knowledge checked, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I'm still
He's spinning at me. Am I plus? Am I minus? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Can I sweep here? I cannot sweep here.
August.
Also, he has some of the best costumes.
He definitely does. I kind of like
True.
Blanca Chan in like a
Blanca
weird
Chan's-
way.
Yeah.
That
I
is
do
an awesome
too.
costume. Yeah.
In a
Uh,
weird way? You
I need
mean
that
in a
Fortnite
great
costume.
way?
I need the
Fork
one
knife.
with the
The
suit.
drip. Drip.
Yeah.
Drip.
Oh,
gun,
yeah.
Drip Blanca.
Has anyone done that cosplay yet? Like, I feel like someone somewhere has to have.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it personally, but I'm sure it's out there. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I'm sure one of the 4 Blanca fans has done it.
Yeah. Small community.
Special kind of person to be a Blanca man.
The 4 Heavenly Kings. August, what was next up on the docket there? So just so because like we got like 20 minutes,
wait,
like 15 almost
yeah,
at this
Yeah, we
point.
got a zip zoom, huh?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean
Shake
SF6
the
looks
room.
great. I was gonna try to go through the mechanics, but basically parries are back, they're cool. There's a bunch of other mechanics. EXs are now tied to that same meter. So supers are just supers. It's almost kind of like Marvel. There's like level 1, 2, and 3 supers. This game looks sick. There's a million things we
Looks
could talk
so
about,
good.
but I'm very, very
Animations look so weighty and just.
Also, can we
so
point out the fact that people's complaint about FADCs are going to be gone now? Because a lot of people hated FADCs in 4 because of like you don't have to play neutral, but now
Yeah.
those can be parried. They have an answer for them, which I love.
And
I
not only
love
that, they're a limited resource.
Yeah, they're a limited
They are,
resource.
really.
I just love like what they're doing with the system overall. It's my favorite thing about it. Not only that, but FADCs are back. Everybody has them. It's not just limited to like Ken or whatever. Everybody can do them, which is like another thing I love is like universal systems opposed to like, you know, I don't know, like Laura having plus frames or something like that. I mean, like you can have that stuff, but have it on the side, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think they
it's a
learned
strong
that.
foundation.
Yeah, I think they learned that like base system changes have a larger overall impact on the game than just tweaking individual characters.
Absolutely. It can't
Yeah.
just be a like, does your character have a good V trigger? Okay, your character's top tier. Like no
So
one
it
wants.
sounds like more exhausting, really.
Yeah, it sounds like a more of a headache to even balance as a game dev when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that drive system is
Sure.
super cool. I'm a fan, and just looking at it, you can already see that player expression is going to be a big thing in this one.
Yes.
The
Like,
memes.
They
Yeah,
literally they asked the devs about this, and they said that's one of the reasons why they made it the way it is. So
yeah,
memes?
like when you think about it, just how you interact with a fireball. You can interact with a fireball in like 5 different ways now. You can focus attack through one, you can parry one, you can perfect parry one. I don't actually think you can perfect parry fireballs. But you can parry it, you can just drive rush after the parry and just close that distance. Like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, Dalsum with the parry scares me. So don't add Dalsum into the
Oh,
game, please.
he's already in
Um,
there. Well,
Oh, bad news.
I know.
Rip.
I know. I know.
I was hoping he wouldn't come back
Yo,
either. I'm
those
like,
background
he's too old for
characters,
this
though?
shit. Get him out of here.
I've been doing that yoga. Staying
What are
fit.
they doing with those
Apparently,
background
man.
characters? Like, anybody see those like Hugo or whatever? They I don't know,
Come
man.
on.
Yeah, there
That's-
was some.
They look like
a
trash.
Final fight boss as well, right?
They're-
The guy with the yellow hair.
Yeah, damn.
There's no
Like,
guarantee
there's tons
they're
of
gonna
Final
look
Fight
like
characters
that
in the background.
final product.
I feel like that's going to be like a
Right.
world tour thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like hopefully we get more info on that soon because I'm really excited about that single player mode just to see what it's about.
Literally,
Yeah.
the single player is going to be like Final Fight mode, which is I love that because it's like it's literally like, oh, we love our history of Street Fighter. Because, you know, considering Final Fight is considered Street Fighter 89. Apparently I'm losing my voice as I speak, so which is like, it's such a love letter, and it shows how much more they actually care about the game. August, did you want to hop on over to the JoJo's really quick?
Yep.
JoJo
Yeah.
time.
So yeah, other fighting game news, of course. The reason for the tournament, DNF Duel's coming out in a week.
Phil's ready.
Y'all are hyped. $50 isn't a bad price. Would I like to see it cheaper? Yeah, but all we're getting and the rollback note code. That's not that bad. It's gonna have a story mode, you know. And I'm excited for it. So DNF Duel looks like it's gonna be fun. I'm down to get it. I'm down to try it out, and I hope more people in the FGC are because we need more great games like it, and it looks like it's gonna play pretty fun. So that's next week. It's been a crazy, just kind of week/month for fighting games and beat 'em ups. But yeah, next on the docket, while everyone still has time, let's get to JoJo's. The whole story of this has kind of been crazy because, like, out of nowhere, I think like 4 or 5 months ago, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're making a new version of JoJo's All-Star Battle," which is a pretty beloved game from like the PS3 era. And we're adding new
From
characters.
10 years ago, you know.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, cool, super sick!" Like, I always wanted to try that, but either didn't have a PS3, you never played it, or it slipped through the cracks. JoJo's have recently been popular now just because of like, you know, it coming onto Netflix with a new season. People have been kind of trying to get into it that way. So people were kind of decently interested in this game, just out of curiosity, if nothing else. And then as it got closer and closer to the release date, they're like, okay, so rollback. And then it all just started going downhill. Like the PR people for JoJo's literally I mean, granted, you know, trolls on the internet gonna troll and be annoying. But like literally someone on Twitter kept being like every 5 minutes spamming like, "Are you gonna have rollback? Gonna have rollback? Gonna have rollback?" After like a long time of silence. And their literal response was, "Why don't you pre-order you some rollback?" So it's like, oh no, things are only gonna go downhill from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
Well, you guys
covering
don't
this.
have
I've
rollback?
been keeping an eye on this for a while now. Because I'm gonna be honest, I never played this.
Yeah.
Okay, I say that, but I think I played this with a friend at a friend's house for like one match. You know, I mean, I didn't really put any effort into this.
Yeah.
But I've recently started getting into JoJo's. I wasn't a fan back in the day, and now I am. So, like, I was actually relatively excited about this because it looks like a good game. It doesn't look like a shitty arena fighter. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's going to be something good. And then I also was following the whole, like, what are the extras? It's the only thing they're giving us. Apparently, they're going to add a couple extra new characters and a couple new modes, but nothing else. I didn't realize they were literally just porting the entire game onto a new. That's literally what they did.
They put in new movesets and like abilities and stuff. They also, well, I mean, they added like 8 new characters, which is, they made substantial changes.
Yeah,
Which
what
apparently
they
from
added, yeah.
sorry, like from what I'm reading, and I'm learning everything from Twitter as well. Like, people are like, I'm following like the big JoJo people and everything, and the fact that you said they have not mentioned anything about rollback this entire time. They said like, hey, we're gonna give you a demo, right? Everyone's excited about the demo. People try the demo, and no one noticed that also on the JoJo's website they announced a bunch of Q&A questions right then and there when they released the demo. And the number one thing, this game is 13-year-old bitches. There's no fucking way we're doing that. You get it out of your head now. Is literally what they said to everybody. It's like, no way. And which, from what everyone's been saying, it's actually, this could be a legitimate competitive fighter. Like, this is like legit. The issue is it's not getting support because it's Bandai Namco.
The game is really fun. It's super fun. I think that's why it hurts me so much that this has happened, because as someone who was, like I said, I was there in 2013 playing the game, trying to play games online, and just to overall have it be one of the worst online experiences that I have ever had, and I mean in the top 2. That you know,
Pretty bad.
yeah, it's and it makes me sad because of how many different, you know, play styles that the game actually has, and how I'll never get to see it be like an actual competitive fighter because it's gonna be DOA again, just like it was the first time.
DOA like DOA. Yeah, yeah.
Not only that, but no, it gets worse. So for everything they added, they actually took stuff out of the game, which not a lot of people mentioned, but it was mentioned in the Q&A. They pulled out both the campaign and the story mode.
What? Okay.
What? Yeah.
The story
So
mode?
this game
I
had a
didn't know about
campaign
that.
and a story mode originally, and they pulled it out. Yes, they made room for new characters and do animations, but this game no longer has a story. Instead, they added, let me go back and see,
Probably arcade mode.
All-Star Battle, Team Battle, and Tournament modes. All things you'd probably want to play against people, but you can't, really, because no online.
I was watching people play this, and just seeing how many disconnects there were, like the day of the demo, and how many matches will be interrupted by "please wait" while it tries to load into the gameplay, while you're like mid match. It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
6 frames plus of input delay.
Like, none of this makes sense in 2022, especially post-pandemic. Like, how are you going to make what? I mean, it seems like they've made the game. It's like, yes, we want this to be a social fight, and we want people to play against each other. But in 2022, most people are doing stuff like that remote. Like, there
Yeah.
still aren't a whole lot of social gatherings. Friends have moved. People have moved. Gas prices are crazy.
I don't know what gas.
Not everyone's going everywhere nowadays.
No, let's go
Like,
back to the gas prices.
why? But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're like pulling out all of the single player content and then releasing a game that it feels like you want to make people play against each other, give people the tools to play against each other. Like, rollback should have been the first goal from the get go. And yes, because it is an old game, it probably would have taken the most investment and work. But I mean, this could have made it an entirely renewed the success of the game rather than having it be DOA in most Western countries, which it will again now because of this. Like, the people that do buy this, it's probably just gonna sit on their consoles and they'll play it occasionally when they have friends over.
Yeah.
But you haven't given them the tools to do it any other way. So what else?
This was made for casual players, and that's the like it was made for from what I'm thinking. Like it definitely put enough in there where it's a competitive fighter where it could have gone somewhere, but they didn't put in the efforts to make an actual esports for it. They want you, and it's the casual players are going to buy it and be furious that there's not enough in there for them. It's just the whole situation is just reeks of
Just half-ass.
bad. Yeah, it was just this reeks.
It's just lazy.
It doesn't make any sense that you would port a game, put a bunch of new mechanics and stuff like that into it, and then just be like, well, here you go. Have fun.
I mean,
This is good enough, right? Here you go.
Worse, why would
It's
you
an
pull out
anime
the
game
content?
I actually wanted to play, right? So like it hurts me too. Like it's an
Phil,
anime game I
hurts me
actually
as
want to
well.
play.
I know you really wanted that horse combat. I get it, man.
Dude, like that actually looks kind of cool. Like I watched the pet shop. I actually want to play the little dog.
Yeah, Iggy.
Iggy,
Yeah, I want to play Iggy just to bother people because
I'm sorry, look at how many play styles there are. How many different, like, it almost is like a Mugen game in a way. Like, you have people fighting on horses, you have people with stands, you got, like, fucking little weird animals, whatever. It's truly a JoJo's game. You got time stop mechanics, which is horrible, to deal with.
I think
But it wouldn't be JoJo's without time. Come on.
there is one hope, and like the fact that they're making a JoJo game pre-release, they could currently be working on a new one, and they're trying to gauge. Like, I know Max did a video on that
Maybe.
recently. Like, they don't do that anymore. But like, this is Bandai Namco. It just like, I'm just gonna say, Bandai Namco has been dropping the ball hard, not like hard. Like the the Tekken prices for their definitive edition, like the fact that they have just clearly just misunderstood the fact that the West wants better internet. Like, and it's not even, they didn't even upgrade it from, this is the same like netcode from 2013. They don't even have delay, from I'm correct, it's not even delay based netcode.
Nope, they just like a straight port for the netcode.
Yeah, this is like the Wii Super Smash Brothers Brawl like internet. Like, bro, what are you doing?
What is
once again, like what I said
connection?
earlier about Capcom, like we need to start like having these companies start having standards for themselves, not even for us.
Absolutely.
And it's a standard for us, like in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like we're demanding the product be playable.
But it's a standard because it's like, we know this is what people will use. Like, it's not a standard it's not a standard. It's not like we're asking for something crazy. Like, it's not like we're asking for like RGB lights on the games. No, we're asking for basic functionality so more people can play it.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
And like, not even getting that, this is insane. Like, even if that theory were right and they're using it as like a stage to maybe test out the waters of a new JoJo game, like they're not going to get the sales they should get because like they're going to take the wrong opinion of people not buying it.
Yeah.
And people are not buying it because of the stuff they took out or the basic online functionality they didn't put in.
It's like, oh, they could be making a JoJo's a new fighter or whatever. Oh man, we're gonna take the data from this twice failed fighting game. Sounds great, guys. Good job. You did it,
I want them to
Bandai.
make fairy tale fighters.
Well, I will be playing Heritage for the future, for the foreseeable future now. Because that has rollback on Fightcade.
So Backlog, I hate to do this, but I do have to get out of here because I have to go get my stream going here.
But
thank you so much for having me, my friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I also got to eat dinner with family as well.
A pleasure as always.
Yeah.
Bill, also if you guys ever are around and you want to play some Tekken, we do have a weekly on Saturday nights, Big Tekken Saturday. So feel free to stop by and play some games if you guys if you got a minute, you know.
After the invitational, I'll pick you up on that. I can't.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, it's every Saturday. So
good luck in the invitational, BT Dubs.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll start practicing with Bear. Kuma's coming for you.
We need one Kuma player.
Maul his Lydia. Destroy it.
Yeah.
My first training partner was a Kuma player. Also, yeah, guys, if you haven't done so, you know, please donate to the DNF Duel, Dueling for Cancer Fund. We need a better name. You guys need next time. I gotta say, you guys need a better, like, coherent name for that because it is still a mouthful.
That's why I just say hashtag Dueling Cancer. Just say that.
just put an exclamation point Dueling Cancer into the chat, and you guys can donate to the cause. I appreciate Lumi and Phil for both being on here. We still got a little bit more to go. I'm thinking we'd take a little pee break here if that's cool with you guys. But other than that, guys, we'll be back soon. Thank you for coming on.
All right, thank you. Later, guys.
It was a blast.
Please feel free to come back.
Yeah, anytime.
Exactly. Guys,
Peace
are
out,
great.
guys. All right, guys. Thank you for waiting. We are macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, we had amazing guests on today. Contestants unfortunately had to go do some personal stuff, but he'll be back next week. But yeah, I mean, we're essentially just going to cover a little bit of the rest of the news. Not all of it, because of course he wanted to save some to talk about himself, so we'll cover a little bit more of it in the following weeks. But yeah, I mean, essentially, a crazy amount of video game news was announced in the last kind of week and a half, 2 weeks. You had, of course, the Capcom Showcase. You had the Summer Games Fest the week before last week. We had Future Games Show, of course, as well as a couple other conferences. The cool stuff that came out of let's see, the Capcom Showcase, of course, you know, they talked about Exoprimal. The most interesting stuff, I think, also was the Dragon's Dogma 2 announcement. Dragon's Dogma is pretty influential JRPG from like way back. A lot of people still love the first one a lot. It's pretty beloved just for its kind of like unique mechanics.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, people are pretty hyped about them finally getting around to announcing a second one. It's been a long time. I think at least 10 years, something like that. So that was pretty cool. We had a bunch of like Square Enix Final Fantasy news. I think it was like the 25th anniversary of
Yeah, it's the 25th anniversary.
was it 25th of Final Fantasy 7 or the 25th of what was the 25th
I think
anniversary?
it's the 25th of Final Fantasy 7.
Yep. So we got a ton more Final Fantasy 7 news. For starters, they finally released the PC version, Remake Part 1, Intergrade, which was like with all the DLC on Steam. It's been the hottest selling game on Steam this week. So people are clearly liking it, finally picking it up. Those of the people that waited didn't have like PS5s,
Yeah.
all that stuff like that, or didn't want to buy it on Epic. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We got the title of the Part 2 remake. That's going to be called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Um, I don't know if everyone got time to watch a trailer on that, but it looks like there'll be some interesting stuff is going on. They've already kind of soft confirmed multiple timelines with this trailer. Like at the end of the trailer, they do a bit with Zack showing up to the church and
Yep.
Aerith not being there. So
Uh,
it looks like there's a timeline with Zack where Aerith's not around, and of course there's the main timeline that most people already know that Zack's not around.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be kind of what?
Yeah, no, you're right. It looks like they're definitely diverging from the original timeline, which I mean, I think is great. I think it's a really interesting choice.
I think it's
Um,
super cool.
yeah, and I'm excited to see where they go with this because I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, and as soon as I mean spoilers, but they imply heavily that they're going to diverge from the original timeline. Um, Especially with Cloud having the ability to time travel.
First remake, yeah, and remake Part 1.
In
Yeah.
Remake Part 1, he has the ability to time travel. Remake 2 does look like they're going to go over a large part of the story from Final Fantasy VII, but it looks like they're going to kind of do it out of order. Or a little bit out of order. Not like it matters, it's like flashback stuff. And yeah, I mean, you're gonna get more of the characters that you love, and of course, everybody wants that because everybody fucking loves Final Fantasy VII, and they just want to see more of those characters
To an insane amount, almost.
to an insane amount.
I really wish there were a lot more content from some of the other games that was as well represented, but I mean, it's one of those things that it's like it's a feedback loop. With the more Final Fantasy VII content that gets put out, that's good. More people like it, and then it far and away becomes the most popular, even if it wasn't already before. But it's cool. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to write in the sequel.
Mhm.
And of course, I think a lot of people's biggest regret from the first go round to the first game is that like you couldn't save Aerith. So it'll be interesting if they decide to reverse that, where like you can, but like certain consequences have to happen. And it's this kind of weird thing where like not to be like that guy who's like doing all the big ships and stuff like that, but I mean like I think Aerith's first love was Zack. But
Yes,
Zack
yeah.
died in the original timeline. But it looks like there's a timeline in which Zack is alive in this. So it'll
Well,
be interesting to see if Zack and Aerith can finally reunite across timelines in this one. I'm not
it
entirely sure what's happening,
it,
but
it it implies that there could be, so they haven't fully diverged from the timeline. They haven't fully. They've kept it pretty like along the same, story beats from the original game, but yet always hinting at, well, this could be different.
Yeah.
And it's like they kind of imply that same thing with Zack, and he does die at the end of the part that he's at in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like him and Cloud, it kind of like it shows how like Cloud became, the person he is, and whatever it is, and why he lost his memory. And so, but again, yeah, there is always that possibility that, well, could be different. You don't know.
well, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like like I don't know if you saw the trailer for Rebirth, but like that clip when Zack is showing up to the church at
Yeah.
the end of it. Is that in canon for the first timeline, or is that entirely new?
I don't. It's hard to remember because it's been so long, but I do remember him showing up and then meeting Aerith. So I don't know. And the other thing too is I don't know if this is reunion or if. Okay, so all right, so it could be Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, the remake that they're doing.
What I'm saying, I didn't watch the Crisis Core trailer. I watched the Rebirth trailer.
Okay,
And
the reunion.
It's Rebirth. Yeah, Crisis. So the subtitles get hella confusing, and I don't know why they did it like this.
Crisis Core reunion announced. Okay, yeah.
So the subtitle for Crisis Core is going to be Reunion. The subtitle for Final Fantasy VII Part 2 is Rebirth. So at the end of the Rebirth trailer, Zack shows up.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, that could be an entirely new timeline. We don't know. We don't have enough information. It's still super early. But that would be cool if that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, essentially with this 25th anniversary, they're like tripling down on making as much Final Fantasy VII content as possible. So we got the Remake Part 2 announcement. We got Final Fantasy Ever Crisis announcement, which is basically going to be like a mobile turn-based Final Fantasy, which is cool. I know they made the kind of like mobile turn-based Final Fantasy 15, but the even crazier thing about this Ever Crisis game, despite having like super close vibes to like the original like PlayStation 1 version with like all the kind of like blocky polygon and chibi animation, is that they want to cover every single piece of Final Fantasy VII content in this mobile game, which is crazy. Like supposedly they're gonna have like, I don't know if they're gonna be DLC or not. Supposedly I think the game is free to play. I can't remember if I read that or not.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have content from Advent Children. They're gonna have content from Before Crisis, which has never been in America.
Right.
They're gonna have content from Crisis
my headset
Core.
disconnected. Hold on.
You still there? Anyway, they're gonna have content from Crisis Core, and they're gonna have content from Dirge of Cerberus.
Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah.
Dirge of Cerberus.
Just a janky. Is it like a third-person shooter? I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
it's a third. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It does it does get pretty boring after a little bit, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, there are fun elements to it, but it was a weird kind of Final Fantasy VII related third-person shooter that came into the PS2. But yeah, like supposedly all of these weird, unique kind of spin-offs of Final Fantasy VII are going to be all in this one mobile game.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of makes me want to play it. And I say this as someone who doesn't really like mobile games. So I'm cautiously interested into that. If they ever decided to be like, okay, yeah, the original game is mobile, but we'll also port it to PC, I'd be even more likely to play it because I hate playing things on tiny screens like phones.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean that actually sounds kind of cool. Like if they're gonna find a way to actually make all of the Final Fantasy VII lore make sense, in one coherent narrative as opposed to the many spin-offs that don't entirely make sense within themselves, that would actually be kind of cool. Because that would be the best way to get people ready and understanding for Remake Part 2. You know?
Yeah, and I think it suffers from the from a little bit of Kingdom Hearts syndrome, where it's like obviously you're interested and you want to learn about it, but all of the information is completely separate from where it should be.
Yep.
And a lot of people hate the idea of like, look, I want all my information in one place. I want it to connect to each other coherently.
Yep. Whereas a lot of this shit was written in non-linear order, like they went back and wrote prequels, so naturally it's gonna be weird anyway,
Right, and you guess who is directing this?
Who?
Tetsuya Nomura, I believe. And you know who directed Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, Tetsuya Nomura. So here we go again. I mean, I guess it works for Kingdom Hearts, and that's great and all. I don't personally care for that.
Works is a strong term.
I mean, if you're down with Final Fantasy VII and you're like all about it, man, go for it. But
I just hope if there are going to be time travel shenanigans, I hope they're a little less confusing than Kingdom Hearts. And I'm not saying Kingdom Hearts is the worst, but like I don't know. It's not the world's most coherent narrative. I mean, no time travel narrative usually is, but I don't know. I definitely think the Kingdom Hearts narrative could have been a lot tighter if they'd wanted it to. But I mean,
Yep.
their first part was definitely selling games and selling merch. And
Yeah,
selling
I don't think that they ever thought they were gonna like. They're like, oh shit, hey, this game's really popular. You know what? Let's make more money.
They never thought 20 years later people would still care about Kingdom Hearts, and people did, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's a
Yep.
surprise." I guess we should try to make it make sense. And
I
like,
guess.
they slapped a band-aid on a gaping wound that was their canon. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
They had to send Sora to a different universe. It was so confusing. So,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well,
we'll see.
it's also the fact that that exists is like a spoiler to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what all this means. As I said, it'll be cool to see them try to put all of FF7 lore together in one game, even if it's a mobile game. They did announce the Crisis Core Reunion, which was a PSP game that also tried to do something a little similar to tie a lot of the Final Fantasy 7
the
together.
PSP game is just called Crisis Core.
Yeah, it's called Crisis Core Reunion. It does have a subtitle.
It does.
For the remake. The original PC game, original PSP game is called Crisis Core. For this new one they're doing, which is halfway in between a remake and a remaster, they're calling it Crisis Core Reunion.
It's definitely a hard remake. Like it feels like it's a hard remake because of like the amount of graphical updates. But
yeah, so that's the thing. They've released some kind of confusing statements on it, saying that it's a remaster and not a remake. But with all the graphical updates they're doing, and they'll probably update the mechanics too a little bit, it's probably going to be closer to a remake than a remaster. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to change much of the story, but it's definitely probably going to be closer to a remake. But I think they're official by their words, they're just calling it a remaster. So we'll see what it ends up being. But it's
what
probably
happens?
somewhere. Yeah. But all this looks cool. I mean, if you're an FF7 stan, I bet you went crazy during that conference because I mean, they released or talked about a ton of content that's coming out, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for Final Fantasy. I played through the first game, and I can't wait to play through the second one. And I'm a little like I'm debating on whether I should get Intergrade for the PC. Because I didn't get a chance to play Intergrade. But then again, I would have to play through the original game again, and I don't know how I'm feeling about that. No, I like the original game. I just don't know if I want to play through it again. That's all.
You gotta look up the speedrun strats.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how people's opinion on this change. I just wish there were other good Final Fantasies besides 7, and I kind of wish those got a little bit of love too. Like I would love to. Some more 8 stuff. I'd love to see some more 9 stuff. I'd love to see some more 10 stuff.
But just think about it. If this is successful, it's only going to help the other Final Fantasies.
I hope so.
They're already remaking 9.
Are they? I didn't hear about that.
They're like a lot of Final Fantasy remakes that people love are in the works.
I'm glad to see 8, 9, and 10 over. So if they do that, I'd be hyped for it, especially 10.
For sure. Did you have a chance to check out Shredder's Revenge?
So I bought it. I haven't played it yet. I know you did. Did you get all the way through the main game? I know it's not the longest game in the world, so you might have finished it already. Yeah.
Yeah, I beat it.
How would you think? Was it fun?
I think for a beat 'em up, it's close to like a 10 out of 10.
I watched Max play it last night on Yo Video Games, and he was literally like, "This is easily the best TMNT beat 'em up. This might be one of the best beat 'em ups ever released.
Easy.
Because it takes out all of the bullshit of just wanting your quarters, and then instead they made it about fun and depth of mechanics.
So the other thing too is like they base like gaining new mechanics around doing challenges through the game. So with each individual character, you need to unlock their mechanics by playing through, doing well through the missions. So it has really strong replayability. There isn't an RPG mechanic to it either. So it is like, I would say between this and Streets of Rage 4 is like probably one of the best beat 'em ups of all time. It's probably like a real close tie between the two.
Which blows my mind. I mean, beat 'em ups are an old ass genre, and to see a lot of these indie companies coming in and just understanding the shit out of it and actually successfully making better games that don't abuse your time because they're not looking to get your quarters. Awesome. Just awesome. Just
Not-
about fun. Awesome.
I mean, not ironically, but both of these games were made by the same company, .emu. Like Streets of Rage 4 and this, so there's no wonder why they're taking everything from Streets of Rage 4 and they're like, okay, well, we can make the best Turtles game easy. And I think they definitely did it. I think this is the best Turtles beat 'em up. Like, it tops Turtles in Time.
Yep, that's what they said. They're like, it's better than Turtles in Time. It's better than the other ones.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that I played online with 6 other people, and the online wasn't bad. It was good. It was good. I was shocked. Like, I was like, how am I playing online with 6 other people and this isn't laggy? I couldn't believe it. It's a really, really good game. I could easily recommend this to anybody. I might even just buy it. No, I don't have to buy it. I have my my Steam Deck, so I'm gonna throw this on my Steam Deck and just take it with me to work. And like, you know, like I got some free time. I'm gonna smash some buttons, my guy. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I've already bought it on Steam. And then like I saw an article be like, you know what, this would make a great party game. And I'm like, shit, do I need to buy this on the Switch as well? And I might buy it on this too, because I just want to be able to take this places and play it with people.
Yeah, but like if you get that, but you know, if your Steam Deck's still coming through, you know,
Yeah, I'm hoping
you could wait. You don't have to double dip.
It's such a good looking game. I might double dip anyway, just to support the devs. It looks so good.
I will be honest with you. I double dipped on Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah,
I did.
too.
I bought it on Steam and I bought it on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because it was so much fun. I still, like, I'll tell you what, Streets of Rage 4 is so good. I still think about it from time to time. I'm like, man, I really want to play some Streets of Rage 4. Man, that game's so fucking good. And I haven't even unlocked everything. And like, I usually will play like a game like that once, and I'll be like, all right, I'm done. But not Streets of Rage 4. I mean, that game is literally has like a dope combo system that super underrated. It's basically a fighting game, but like they're like, oh yeah, but what if a fighting game was inside of a beat 'em up? And then it's fucking chef's kiss genius. I love it.
It's very good. I would say the only difficulty about that game is it is difficult. Yeah, in that like that might turn away a little bit of casuals, but it's so much fun. Like if you have any love for classic beat 'em ups, you're still gonna love it.
Like I even enjoyed the boss rush in Streets of Rage 4. But the thing is like the bosses will become easier if you master the combo system. So it has that rewarding factor to it. And even with turtles, like I was doing some fucking infinite shit with some of the turtles. Like I was like charging, elbow, attack, charge, elbow, attack. The enemies die. And so what it does is, like, once they die, it encourages you to keep comboing off their dead body so that you can increase your combo count. So, like, but if they land on the ground, the combo ends. Like, you can't continue the combo. But, you know what I mean? It's sort of, I just love that so much. It's like, yo, get better at the combos, though, because you can, like, you might lose, this villain might die, but hey, you know, keep going. Get better at the game.
Yeah.
No,
it
lets you practice.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's one of the better parts about honestly this game, and like, I'm not gonna say an improvement over Streets of Rage 4, but something that almost makes it more fun for the average fan is that it's just cozy. Like, yes, there's a skill ceiling, but also the skill floor is just chill. It's like, bruh, just hang out and enjoy it, and while you play it, you're gonna get better while you play it.
Absolutely.
Rage 4 is a little bit of more challenging to start. This is like, even Max was saying it last night, like, you know what this game is? It's cozy. It's like Sunday afternoon with your friends, just hanging out. And the longer you play, the better you get at it.
I would kill for like a Saturday night with some beer playing this game with some friends. That would be lit.
And you got a pizza.
Of course, you got it. You got to get some za, bro.
Yeah, for real.
But
yeah, I mean, that game looks awesome. I want more things like this. Hell, I want a whole franchise like this. Like, give me a Street Sharks Give me a Biker Mice from Mars. give me everything. Like
Fucking
this.
Street Sharks.
Give me like Mighty Ducks, like the cartoon. Like give me every '90s cartoon property over again.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that so much. You don't even know. I would kill somebody for a Street Sharks video game. For
Fucking-
even yeah.
Yeah.
SWAT
Give me-
cacks
give-
again.
Biker Mice from Mars, give me all of that old shit again in a game like this with this much love and care in it.
Do
And
it.
I'd pay $25, $30 every time.
Yeah, I agree. So super good. Recommended 100%.
So Wu-Tang got back together. Two members of Wu-Tang got back together to make a song for this game. Like Raekwon and Ghostface Killah made one of the tracks for this game. I can't remember what it's called. I had it pulled up earlier, but like literally, like because Wu-Tang is for the children. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, Wu-Tang always, like, everyone knows, like, since they started making Wu-Wear, you know, like,
Yeah. They got together and made a dope track for this legendary game. So like I love a game that understands its audience and its fan base, and like I mean TMNT was so steeped in like New York and hip hop culture. I mean hell, it was one of the first like 90s movies with like a rap song in it, like with like the Vanilla Ice, like Go Ninja Go. Like they understood like their fan base and what the fan base wanted and the kind of the culture of the time.
everyone knows that Turtles fans love Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. Oh, just 90s hip hop in general, you know what I mean? So yeah. That was super cool to see, like, you know, them calling up like the Wu-Tang and be like, hey yo, we need you to make a track for the Ninja Turtles game. And then I bet they were like, all right, bet.
Oh, you paid us money? Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is something I would go above and beyond to do just because it's cool. So yeah, that was cool to see. But yeah, you can look it up and find it. Like, there's a little clip on Twitter if you want to actually hear a sample of the song.
I'll have that. Well, I mean, I think I was playing it, right? So I must have heard it.
I heard it. You might not have realized it was the Woo.
I was like wondering. I heard a few rap songs, and I didn't know who was singing it, but they were dope. They were actually, the whole soundtrack is one. The one thing I regret is not pre-ordering it because it came with the soundtrack.
Did it?
Yeah.
Now I'm sad. Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Can you buy it separate still? I might have to do that.
I think you can. But I mean, I think I was bummed because I did.
Sorry about that. I was saying.
I don't know if I pre-ordered it, but I thought I did. But yeah, totally. Yeah. So I might still have to buy that. I think I have Streets of Rage 4 soundtrack, but I could be wrong. And they actually had the original Streets of Rage 2. If you haven't, go listen to Streets of Rage 2. That soundtrack is fucking amazing. So is Streets of Rage 1. The guy, what he was able to do, the music producer, what he was able to do with like a limited soundtrack is incredible.
Oh, so many of those game soundtracks were just amazing for what they did for the time. And like, I know there are ways to get the soundtracks, but like, this is the shit I would love to have on like Spotify on repeat if I could. Like,
I think they might, but I mean, then again, like, it's so inconsistent with video game music. You never know.
And that's what makes me sad because so much video game music out there is amazing. Yeah. So the song by Ghostface Killah and Raekwon from Wu-Tang for Shredder's Revenge is called "We Ain't Came to Lose," and it's got like I think bars from like the Turtles' perspective, and then it's got like bars from like Shredder's perspective.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I from what I heard, it was super dope. So
we ain't cool came to lose.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in the chat, but it's super cool.
Right.
But yeah, so moving on. I mean, that I'm super hyped about that. I bought it pretty much. You bought it day one. I bought it day two. I'll put it that way.
Right.
But yeah, we should definitely get together and play it sometime because
I am down.
The game looks hella dope. But yeah, so what else is coming up? Capcom Fighting Collection comes out I think next week. I know you're pretty excited about that. I'll probably also get it. We've talked about it earlier in the podcast. It's got like all the Darkstalkers games, Red Earth, a couple other things like that. Pretty cool. Pretty excited for it. Summer Games Fest. The biggest news that I think you wanted to talk about from that was The Last of Us remasters coming out The last HBO show is coming out, and
Mm-hmm.
the Last of Us standalone multiplayer game was coming out. So what of that was most interesting to you?
Well, I mean, I don't really have too much to say about it besides the fact that I don't understand their thought process on having to remake The Last of Us again, because they made The Last of Us
Yeah.
on the PS3, and then they remade The Last of Us on the PS4, and now they're remaking The Last of Us on the PS5.
I mean, they know people will buy it. I don't know. It's dumb. I agree. Like, I don't know why time and effort was spent remastering it. Or is it really a remaster at this point? My God.
Yeah, no, it's a remaster. It's a full remaster. And imagine how many other Sony properties that they're just ignoring for a game that doesn't need to be remastered, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, a brand name is a brand name, and that's why they're doing it, because they know there's still a market for it. But yeah, I mean, other than updating a lot of the face and character models, like, is this game adding anything? I mean, I guess we get the multiplayer mode back, which was cool. I thought that the multiplayer game for Last of Us 1 was actually one of the cooler things they made.
Yeah.
Same with the multiplayer games for the Uncharted. Like, they were super unique and cool multiplayers, and I'm kind of sad they kind of just up and disappeared. Like, I know that was like there was that weird phase where like everyone, even single player games, were making multiplayer games just because they're like, oh, we need a multiplayer game. Everyone's got a multiplayer game. And yes, a lot of those didn't need to be made, but like a couple companies made actually super cool and unique multiplayer games. And The Last of Us one was one of them. The Uncharted ones were one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually kind of sad when like the PS3 in that era closed up shop, those disappeared. So it's cool to have at least the Last of Us one back.
I actually think that they rolled that back. They didn't close the PS3 shop.
Okay. Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know if people are still actively playing the Uncharted multiplayer games, or if they still have servers up for them. Same with if they servers up for the Last of Us multiplayer game. I'm pretty sure they abandoned that.
I do agree that I think the only thing I'm really interested in, truthfully, is the Last of Us multiplayer that they're adding.
Yeah.
I will also say that I have never beaten The Last of Us. I mean, even though I own it on the PS4. Maybe if it came to PC, I would be interested.
Yeah.
But
it will. You know it will, now with the new Sony to PC pipeline.
I mean, I think my only gripe is that, again, I'm with people in saying that, well, there are all these other Sony properties that are being just straight up ignored. Yeah, I just wish that they hadn't done that. I know it's. I just wish it wasn't like that. You know.
So I'm with you on the one hand that I wish. So Sony seems to be the only company out there that is making good new individual IPs, or at least remastering old good individual IPs. Like the fact that they brought back God of War and made it relevant again, that was crazy. That was awesome. I mean, like God of War, the original games were cool, but they dipped very hard into edgelord, like just beat 'em up territory.
Yeah,
it was okay for the time, but I mean, they weren't like in terms of like writing and character development or anything like significant to like game literature. They weren't anything too impressive. And then they made the new God of War, and everyone's like, has an amazing story, has an amazing acting, has amazing gameplay. You know what I mean?
I think
like,
they definitely took a turn for the better.
Yeah. And it's not just that. I mean, like, they've been innovating for a while. Even the original Last of Us was a piece of video game history in terms of like, no, but we can make games as good as cinema though. And they absolutely did. Like they had a movie quality story within a video game, which you see super rarely, almost non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Great acting, great emotional scenes, impact, all that stuff like that. It just true, very an innovation in terms of video game media creation. So, giving people the chance to play Last of Us 1 on modern graphics, I think it's a cool idea. I don't know if a lot of the facial model needed to be updated in the way they updated them. Like, I know, yeah, it's weird. It's super weird. Like, it's almost like they were switching engines and they decided to go with an entirely new facial rendering system just so they could like switch to 4K. I don't know what the reason.
I
because
think
really
it's a publicity stunt,
yeah.
but I could be wrong.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think it's honestly more of a technical related reason. Like when they switched to the new engine, they decided to basically take. They didn't entirely either. They didn't want a 1-for-1 copy of the faces, or they realized that like for the new engine they're rendering in, things needed to be more complex. So they were like, we're gonna take things inspired by the old faces and try to make realistic face models based on that. Like I know Unreal has that like face model builder technology. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it'll basically like make faces for you off of samples. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know exactly technically what they did. All I know is the faces don't look like the faces from the first game. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying it's definitely creepy. It's definitely in that weird uncanny valley territory where you're like, ugh, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, I
I don't know
agree.
if but I mean, hey, giving people a chance to re-experience Last of Us 1, which I'm not I didn't play Last of Us 2, I don't know as much about it. I don't know. I'm not gonna wade into the conversation of like what people think is the better game and why. But I will say that giving people a chance to re-experience Last of Us 1 is a very cool thing for them to do. Would I like to be able to play the PS4 remaster
Mhm.
version of the graphics, which was less significant of a jump? Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't know if we needed this remaster in terms of graphics, but I
Hey,
do like that they're bringing it to modern consoles.
hey, I think the dog's crying. I'm gonna go check on him. Okay.
Yeah. Good
Uh,
choice.
oh, hold on. Actually, let me double check. Just give me 1 second. I'm not gonna go to pause. I'm just gonna see if people are here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Cool. But yeah, I like that they're giving people the option to play it on
What's that?
a modern console. I don't know if it needed the graphical update. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously it didn't, and also you could say like, well, if it was remade for the PS4, they don't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't need the PS5 is backwards compatible. They don't need that boost in power.
Yeah, I mean maybe it's because they eventually plan on selling it to PC, which I totally believe. But again, I don't think they necessarily needed it right now. But whatever. They did release a clip of the Last of Us HBO show. It looks good. It's literally just a still. I don't think we have a trailer yet. Hopefully, we get a trailer soon. I'm
Right.
interested in it. I'll probably watch it. I don't know if it's going to be good, or I don't know if it's going to be an improvement. I'll put it this way: like
Right.
I think adapting game media is super hard, especially game media like The Last of Us, because you don't want to give people the exact same thing. They'll get bored. You don't want to give them too much new stuff because then they'll start complaining that it's too different. So I think there's a happy medium. I just don't know if there's an easy way to find it. And hopefully they do. But yeah, I mean, Pedro Pascal's a good actor. He's not, he'll be a cool Joel. I don't know much about the actress that plays Ellie, but I'm interested. I'll check it out. I hope it's not what happened to Halo. But I mean, Halo made a lot of very obvious mistakes, I should
Mm-hmm.
say, or a lot of very obvious deviations that were probably going to be controversial. So if they keep the crazy big deviations for them to a minimum, especially in the first season, I think people will react pretty positively. I don't know. Did you have anything to say on the show?
No, I actually didn't see the trailer yet, so I mean, maybe I'll check it out.
They don't have a trailer yet. They just have stills.
Oh well, then I really don't have anything to say about it. So let's see, where were we?
Oh yeah. Next, we're about to get to Xbox. I did just briefly want to mention that the Future Game Show, which was like 2 weeks ago, now did a finally released Deadly Premonition 2 on Steam. People didn't like it, but it's a playable game. Whereas Deadly Premonition 1, which is a hell of an old game, still isn't entirely playable on PC. So
Right.
I don't know. Deadly Premonition was one of those super quirky games that I think benefited from its quirkiness in bad and weird design decisions at the time, and also kind of had a cool story. It's very Twin Peaks. If you like Twin Peaks, you'll probably like Deadly Premonition.
I
DP2,
tried.
yeah, DP2 had none of those benefits. In fact, it was almost a negative in terms of the overall everything. And a lot of the design decisions that were annoying in the first one were even worse, or they made super design decisions in the second one, like the whole skateboard traversal and a million other things in the shit frame rate. And don't buy this on the Switch, but then again, I don't know what to buy this on because a lot of it is shit. Maybe buy this on PC. The PC version honestly
Yeah.
might be the best version of it.
We could only hope.
But at the same time, the game itself wasn't as fun as the first one. So I buy it if you really want to play DP2 in a semi-stable way. That's probably better than the Switch version. But other than that, I don't know, bro. I don't know if you want to play DP2. Because I
Right.
hear the game's not as
Not
fun
the
as
best.
which is funny because the first one is still semi-unplayable on the PC, unless you're trying to emulate. I think the 360 version, which I hear is the best. But whatever.
In terms of
But yeah.
performance, yeah.
Yeah, well, because the actual PC port straight up crashes. It had one of those things of like where you try to copy a copy of a copy. Like every new port they made of DP1 got worse and worse to the point when they finally made the PC port to Steam, it's literally unplayable. Like the game will like 50 to 80% of the time crash on you. And there's a weird guide you can find online about how to best avoid the crashes. Like you have to do certain activities. I think you have to like smoke a lot. It's a bunch of weird shit that lowers the possibility but doesn't guarantee of a crash. It's actually like the funniest guide I've ever seen. Like it's like do these things more often and you probably won't crash your game, but we can't guarantee it for sure and we don't know why. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's like you can do a couple things to like hack the game to get it to be less likely to crash on you, but it'll probably still crash on you. And that game's hella old. So if you want to play the first one, which I hear is a legitimately good game, emulate it. Probably a 360 version.
Yeah.
I do own the Steam version. I haven't played it yet. I do want to just to see how bad the crashing actually is, but that's like a Kusoge games playthrough I haven't gone around to doing yet. But yeah, DP2's out on Steam. If you want to play it, play it. But if you don't, I don't feel bad for it. And next, in terms of good news, you had the Xbox and Bethesda game showcase. We finally got some more Hollow Knight 2 information, Hollow Knight Silk Song. That looks cool. I want to play it. There's a trailer if you guys are Hollow Knight fans. We're saving the new Team Ninja game, Wulong Fallen Destiny, for the next time our other members back Quintessence because he was interested in talking about that. So I won't say any more other than there's going to be a new Souls-like from the makers of Neo. And we'll talk about that again in the future. Xbox and Kojima are working together. Cool. We don't really have any games.
Like literally just an announcement of just
Yep.
nothing.
They literally. Yep. It was like you guys. Oh, it's like I heard you guys like Kojima. Here he is. He's making a new game for us. Do we know what it's about? Do we know what it's about? Absolutely not. But we've contracted with him to do something. So yeah, it was a nothing burger of announcement other than Kojima's making a new game, which I guess.
Hi,
Is cool.
I'm Hideo Kojima. Goodbye.
Basically, that's basically what happened there. But whatever, that's cool. I don't know. A lot of people like Death Stranding, even though it was weird. So I mean, as long as it's another good game or semi good game, people play it. Whatever.
The world's
I'm
first
just
Strand game.
I'm just sad we'll never get PT. But then again, so is everybody else.
Well, yeah, they've hinted at making a new Resident Evil though. Over Silent Hill, sorry.
But like not with Kojima, I think. So whatever.
Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah. Persona. All the Personas are coming to Steam.
Besides 1 and 2.
Yes, besides 1 and 2, of course, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean 3 Portable, which is a PSP version. 4 Golden, I think was already out on Steam, but I know there was some 4 related news that they talked about. And 5 Royale is finally coming to Steam. So all those people who bought Strikers but had no idea what was going on, you can now get Persona 5R.
You're
So
welcome.
be happy. And then Starfield, which is the new Bethesda game. Bethesda, of course, makes Skyrim and Fallout. So just Space Skyrim? I don't fucking know. I'll probably play it. I'll probably buy it. I just hope it's good because I don't know. Skyrim games are all the Elder Scrolls games are all great. The Fallout games are all like good to mid. In a new IP after Fallout 76, I don't know, bro. I have hopes, but they're mid hopes. They're not high hopes. But yeah, that's the Xbox show. I think we had something more interesting that we talked about.
There's
Oh,
like
Diablo. Yeah. What else are we going to talk about? I kind of forgot.
Isra.
What?
We can wrap up with Isra Miller.
Oh yeah, no. There's one game. There was one game related thing I said I was going to mention though, and I don't remember if I saw it.
I am not sure what else that. Well, Capcom Fighting Collection.
We did talk about that though. What am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Overwatch 2 is going to be free to play. I don't know. I could have sworn there was something else. No, maybe it was just the Final Fantasy stuff. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Like Fall Guys is free to play. Overwatch 2 is going to be free to play. Those are fun for people who like those things. I don't know. Marvel Midnight Suns, we talked about that. It's going to be XCOM. Aliens Dark Descent going to be XCOM. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Wow, we kind of sped run that way faster than I thought we were going to.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So are you a Skyrim guy? Like, are you gonna try to play Starfield?
I don't. I would have to. Okay, so I don't. I'm not a Skyrim guy. I like it, but just to mess around. Like I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like have any intention of playing through the story.
Yeah. I do this. I do some of the side quests, but I never actually finished the main story.
Yeah. I would have to see it, and then just see if there's any kind of like emotional gravitation towards the game. But I have no like current inclination to. I haven't seen enough of it to be like yes or no.
A lot of people were memeing and saying it was like no man's Skyrim.
Yeah,
but
it's similar.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. A lot, like if you look at what each of the games do, they're really not. Like this looks more closer to like an Outer Worlds type experience, than a Skyrim type experience.
But No Man's Sky though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No Man's Sky type experience. Yeah, like you're not going to be able to land on planets. They wanted separate world generation for that. So like, I think that when you go down to planets, it's going to be a cutscene. Yeah, there is going to be flying around in space, but they separated the flying around from the landing on planets, just to make it easier on themselves. And I mean, honestly, it kind of makes sense. It's a lot of it's a lot of game dev for something that would take like what 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, but for me, like to be honest, to be perfectly honest, role-playing game, first-person shooters just get boring to me. I don't know what it is, but like I'm not saying every gun is the same, but every gun is kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem interesting to me. There isn't as much of a diversity of play style there. When most people just go bang bang shooty, that's it. Like maybe if you gave people more stealth options, I don't know. It just seems not interesting. But we'll see. Maybe like I mean, Bethesda is the master of RPGs. Maybe they'll make like multiple classes and mechanics and like traders and
Bethesda's the master of making fucking half-assed games.
That too. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's good, but I don't know. My hopes are not high. I'll put it that way. I'm not saying it'll be bad. I'm just saying it's probably just gonna be mid.
Yeah, mid at best. Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. Did you wanna read off the L of the Week stuff?
So hold on. We have to now. We're gonna go into the L of the week.
L.
So today's L of the week is Isra Miller.
Yes.
As a shock to no one, Isra Miller could have easily been, I swear to God, 3 or 4 podcasts in a row, this guy could have been the L of the week, with the amount of shit that he's been doing. Normally, we don't really even talk about, like...
we skipped news on him before, because it's like, this is happening too often.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, it's all accumulated, and we normally don't even talk about like drama in terms of like celebrity drama in general. I mean, maybe like a little bit of a mention. Like we totally skipped the Amber Heard, like Johnny Depp. Like didn't we? Or did we talk about it?
We didn't like spend forever on it either. We're just like, this is stupid. But here are some of the facts.
Yeah, like even that we just kind of touch upon it, but we don't want it to be like the main focus of the podcast. It's like, you know, touching upon it, especially only if they have something to do with movies or, you know, like gaming in general.
We try to find interesting ones, not things that you've already heard a million times that week. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
People might have heard all of the information about the Ezra Miller stuff. So this is one of the reasons we're going into it.
So currently, it said that Ezra Miller kidnaps 18-year-old accused of grooming 12-year-olds, multiple, that is, evades law, court ability to serve them papers, mocks court inability to find them on Instagram, like literally on Instagram, just like posting, like mocking like the law and people from finding him. This dude's a nutbag. And then, let's see, 12-year-old granted order of protection against Ezra Miller. So, I mean...
So the more you read about this situation, it's just like the more you're like, this person has needed some help. I'm going to try to use their proper pronouns right now, because they do want to be gone by them. They, that's just what it is. I'm probably going to mess it up, because I always mess it up, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, the more you read about this character, is just like, you're like,
this character,
like, how could the signs not be any clearer that like this person needs help?
Yeah,
like, they needed to be on a psych hold like yesterday.
Yeah, I don't even know how they keep getting out of the situation, really.
Oh, but like, I'll put it this way, because I was reading the article about, okay, so the whole multiple 12-year-olds thing, I'll put it this way. The current 18-year-old that he kidnapped, so kidnapping is a gray area word, but basically like picked up, took without their parents' a consent, and just did, has someone that they've been communicating with since they were 12. So that's already a little
problematic.
Suspect. Yeah, it's already a little sus.
Yeah.
And then also another 12-year-old in their family this week got an injunction against Ezra Miller because he's supposedly been in weird kind of groomery contact with them. And like, I mean, grooming has like a weird kind of gray area definitions, but like, honestly, like what it boils down to is just a lot of problematic behavior around this 12-year-old. Like, I think some of the stories from the parents were that like, he came to their house in body armor, in like, I think like a fur coat.
You're kidding
or
me.
Something crazy like that. And like later, like some like conversation got him pissed off, and he's just like, "Listen, if you keep talking like that." No, he literally was like, "Listen, if you keep talking like that to me, it could be problematic." And he flips up his coat. There's a gun there, and it's like, bro, what the hell? You can't do that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So, I was like, you can't just casually threaten people with a weapon, bro.
Wow.
Like, it's insane. And then like he was also saying like that this 12-year-old could learn a lot from them. And it's like, yeah, learn how to be insane? Like, what are you doing? And like, I don't, like, there's a whole story part about how like they're their own person, and like you need to recognize their authority. And I'm like, okay, this is nice and all. I understand that your sentiments about how like, kids are their own individuals, but they're also kids.
I'm my own person.
And like, you can't just be that, you can't bring that level of crazy and just let them do whatever they want. Like, that's, I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like it, like, I don't know if you're taking out, actually that's a hot take. That's a wrong take. I can't say he's like taking out angst against like on his own life, on someone else's, you know what I mean? Be like, listen, you got to fight the man, you got to fight your parents, you got to fight the system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bruh, like, there's trying to be an individual, and then there's just trying to be an insane edgelord for the sake of doing that, and that's what it sounds like you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, but like seriously, like a lot of the stuff you're hearing, like supposedly, like he was giving the current 18-year-old that he's quote unquote kidnapped, like he's been like supplying them with like LSD, ketamine, and a bunch of other things for a long time, and it's like like for someone who probably already has a mental illness themselves, the whole situation just sounds like a fucking mess.
Yeah, he seems like he's definitely off his rocker right now, off his meds,
like,
something.
He definitely seems like he's in the middle of some type of like psychotic break. Maybe it's been going on for like months. I don't know his whole situation, or their whole situation, excuse me.
Right.
But like, this is not normal behavior. None of this is normal behavior. And I mean, yeah, something needs to happen. I don't know. Like at the end of the day, they just like need some help. I don't know what they need, but like what they've been doing is not okay.
Yeah.
and it needs to stop. And I mean, if just on an individual level, they need help. That's one thing. I mean, the Instagram shit, whatever, but like the actual actions they've been taking have just been not okay. At the higher level, it's like you feel bad in a bajillion ways because this person could have been the most pivotal person in the next step of the DCU. Whatever it turns into, if they were going to flashpoint the universe, this person could have been at the helm of it.
Yep.
Should have been at the helm of it. And now, as a company, DC needs to look at their balance sheet. It's like, well, we've already spent like $220 million on this movie, not including promotion, and be like, what the hell do we do with it? Because we were supposed to reboot the second half of our cinematic universe. Now we have a super problematic individual who's literally at the helm of that reboot. And like they could have reigned Ezra Miller for years. Like this behavior isn't new. It's been escalating. It's been getting worse. That's the worst part of it.
Yep.
But they were choking people they met in like random nightclubs like back 2 years ago, or like throwing chairs at people, or a bunch of other stuff. Like a lot of this very problematic behavior is not new, and the fact that they weren't willing to address it or crack down on it early on, I mean, it speaks volumes. It's like DC, like what are you doing?
It just
I mean, like,
it just goes to show like it's not a problem until it's a problem. And
should have been a problem. It should have been a problem. Like that's what I'm saying. Like who are the execs at DC that were like, listen, if we don't get a handle on this, this is only going to make things worse for us. Sure enough, now they're at the point where they're like, I mean, even then, like they made a super non-committal statement. Like there's been an official statement from them supposedly that came from Deadline, which is a super reputable source that was like, listen, we will stop working with Ezra Miller after this movie. This is the last movie. He's getting one more chance, guys.
Man,
but, like,
that is one chance too many.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the thing. It's like, yes, it's like the movie is already in the can. We get that. But I mean, it certainly sets it's a bad look when they have to be like, well, listen, okay, this is his last movie with us. Whereas they could get out ahead of it and make their own statements about
I just think it's like one of those things where it's like
all they've said is this is their last movie with us.
I just think it's one of those things where it's sort of like, oh, we put too much money into it, so we gotta kind of like go through with it the best we can if we can do it.
It's probably exactly that, but they could have put a PR spin about it, about how like they don't endorse his behavior, yada yada yada, super problematic. Donate to some charity. I don't know. They could have done more than they're doing. All of the actions by them feel super non-committal, which is the other thing you hate to see from organizations like this, because PR is part of the game, and the fact that they've literally just not been playing defense at all means that they deserve a lot of the L's they're taking right now. It's so stupid. I mean, it's stupid to see a company as successful as Marvel manage to. I mean, maybe one could say they almost go too far on some of their like clamping down on celebrities for the things they do in the public eye, but they care because they understand they're a brand, and the actions of the celebrities can and will negatively affect the organization they're trying to run and the media they're trying to make. Whereas DC just doesn't seem to care. And like that's the vibe I've been. Don't get me wrong. That's the vibe I've been getting about most of the content that comes out of DC. But like for something this egregious, it's extra. It is extra visible how little they seem to. You know what I mean?
Super concerning.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just sad to see. It's sad to see all around. I feel bad for everyone involved. The child victims of this situation the most. Ezra Miller, kind of next. I mean, this person this person clearly needs some help. Like this is not behavior. This is not normal behavior. They're clearly going through something, and they need help.
Yeah.
But next up, it's just like, why hasn't DC been willing to do anything to address the situation up until now? What it takes to like kidnapping someone and like going on the run from being served papers is insane. Is insane to me. Especially when this isn't like the first incident. Like there's a history of escalating behavior, and only now are they getting around to addressing it. I don't know.
Man, I'm glad that he got fired. He finally got fired after all this.
Like it's the most. Yes, he got fired, but it is the most. I'm not gonna say non-committal firing of all time, but they're like, listen, okay, we've already made this movie, so after this movie, he's done. We're cutting him off. But listen, guys, we've already spent the money. This movie needs to come out. You don't understand.
Did you see the
We're not-
meme of like the guy, like everybody wants the Flash from the TV show Flash to play. And did you see the one where like they have the meme of him standing over Ezra Miller's grave, like with the peace sign, like
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, he's just like crouched over and he's like this, and it's like a picture of Ezra Miller on a gravestone.
Oh, I wish I had. Why did you send that to me? That's funny.
I don't remember where I saw it. That's the thing. It's like I saw it like last night somewhere.
Oh,
And it's like you know how like sometimes when you're consuming like internet stuff, it just kind of like you see it and it kind of
yeah, that speaks to my soul. Jeez, that's so funny.
Um,
But yeah, this is crazy. This is a mess. It's cool that they finally fired him,
Yep.
but like they're still committed to releasing the movie. Like they're like,
I would love to. I would still want to see it. I just want to see them. I want to see what they're gonna do with a different Flash. I want to see
Well, I
them
mean-
do.
how are they gonna write in a different Flash? Are they gonna? Is it gonna be like a Poochie situation? It's like Poochie went back to his home planet. Like, is he gonna run into the Speed Force and just never come back?
Yeah,
And a new Flash is gonna emerge. Like, I don't know what they're gonna.
I think they're going to do like there was like a thing on Young Justice where like Wally West is like running through the Speed Force and he just gets destroyed inside of it because he can't like run fast enough. I think that's what they're gonna do.
He's gonna become one. He's gonna run so fast that he turns into pure energy and can't return from that.
He just goes into the Speed Force and never comes out.
So it's bad. So it's gonna happen.
I mean, I would be shocked if that's what they don't do.
We peek behind the curtain. Oh, absolutely.
So it's either okay. So the real question is, do you think that the movie's gonna get canceled?
You don't. I mean, I think they've already sunk the 22 mil, 220 mil into it,
Mhm.
not including promotion. I just think they're going to take an ass blasting during the promotion campaign because the central actor
It
in
is
your
gonna
movie-
be mad awkward.
the central actor in your movie has been an asshat for the past 6 months or more, the past couple years.
Yep.
And like, I don't know how their brand is going to survive that. Like, like, don't get me wrong, it could, but that movie will massively take a dunk on possible revenue.
Yep.
Even if it's good, because people aren't just going to want to go see it to support Ezra Miller.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's just the facts of the situation. I mean, like, that's free money for every freelance journalist that just wants a quick byline, and they can be like, super problematic actor Ezra Miller is going to be the central star in a new DC movie. How do you feel about that? Like, it's gonna be all of the slam pieces that are gonna come out against DC and the Flash just for this movie existing and coming out. Like, I like, what, like, they could have solved this problem years ago by just recasting him years ago. And the
So
fact that they waited up to the last minute, it's just.
I think it's Grant Gustin is his name.
Yeah, Grant Gustin is the Flash on the CW. But I mean, like, think about it. Like, this is honestly, this is a whole new level of infuriating, because look what happened to Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher got his the guy who played Cyborg in Justice League. Ray Fisher got his career deep sixth and pretty much got almost blacklisted from Hollywood just for calling Joss Whedon out on being an asshole. And guess what?
Really?
He was a fucking asshole. Everyone later came out and said, "Oh yeah, Joss is a nightmare to work with on set." Like, back in the
Which is
Buffy the
sad.
Vampire Slayer days, he wasn't allowed to be on set by himself with Michelle Trachtenberg, who was like a teenager at the time.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, you mean?
Michelle Trachtenberg, who played Buffy's little sister.
Oh.
She shows up in the later season.
No, I remember her. Hold on one second. I'm gonna send you that meme because I found
But
it.
like, yeah, awesome. I'll check that out.
Oh.
But yeah, no, like, literally, like, as soon as Ray Fisher goes on record within like a month or two. Everyone comes out and it's like, yeah, Joss is a piece of shit to be around. Like,
Yep.
that's just the way it is. And like everyone says that going back years, and he got away with it for years because no one said anything. It was just an unspoken Hollywood rule. In fact, like back in the 90s days when he was making Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he was touted as like a feminist ally and icon because he was like, oh, I can write strong female characters and make a show with strong female characters. Meanwhile, behind the scenes and on set, he's a piece of shit to all of his actors,
Yep.
male or female. He's just an asshole to be around. But it was just accepted until Ray Fisher was like, no, he's an asshole. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. And he gets blacklisted for that, but everyone else is like, oh yeah, no, that's right, that's accurate actually. And it's just like it like how they handle that versus like how they're still handling the Ezra Miller situation is just infuriating me. It makes no sense.
Well,
Like,
it's still that old hat.
Yeah, people were joking about how they should bring Ray Fisher back as the Flash, and I'm just like, yeah,
Ray Fisher?
like Cyborg.
Cyborg as the Flash.
Yeah.
I would watch that. I'd watch that.
Yeah, give me like the alternate timeline. Like,
I wanna see the. Well, I mean, isn't he like considered a very good actor, and he just had like a kind of a poor hand with the Cyborg situation?
Then that's kind of the thing. He got like semi-blacklisted for a little bit because of
The Joss Whedon thing.
the whole Joss Whedon thing, and it's just like,
Yeah.
bruh, like he was just speaking the truth.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that pissed me off so much about DC right now is they're just not willing to like call it out and be
To
like,
actually
okay,
dig into the situation.
yeah, actually do something about the situation. Yeah.
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 August. Where can people find you?
Same back time, same back channel, Backlog Podcast. I will be doing some of my own streaming eventually. Matt has threatened me with bodily harm to get a new microphone, so I'm getting a new microphone, and we're gonna keep it rolling and try to make some content in the future. But for now, right here, right now.
All right. Well, you can find the backlog on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. You can find us on anywhere you find podcasts. Of course, that is the Backlog Podcast. And I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm missing something here. YouTube. YouTube as well. Other than that, I hope you guys had a good night, and we'll see you soon. What's that?
What about you? What about Ucast?
Ucast?
You're not on Ucast?
No, Ucast. I don't even know what that is.
No, I'm just...
God damn it. Is that like a lot like Bofdo?
Vote for what?
Both D's nuts.
Oh shit! And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew, but through it